rent it out. Access Property Advisors gets me the best sales price or lease terms to make my rental properties profitable. Jason Sellers has an impressive team of professionals at Access Property Advisors, experts in just about anything you can need with real estate. So whether you want to find the home of your dreams, sell your home, or manage your rental property, do what I do and give Access Property Advisors a call at 602-614-5590. That's 602-614-5590 or visit accesspropertyadvisors.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends over at the Lund Mortgage Team. For years, I've been telling you about refinancing, new home loans, all the great stuff that the Lund Mortgage Team can help you with from start to finish. Now, things have gotten a little crazy, right? The rates were bouncing all over the place. Now they're officially higher than they've been in a long time. And now more than ever, I think it's important to have a mortgage professional that has been there, done that. Any Yahoo can sell you a mortgage when it's 2.75%. Those people are going away. The real professionals are the ones that are staying in business and helping their clients through this kind of tough time out there as far as mortgage rates are concerned. Those people are the Lund Mortgage Team. Matt Oliver, Lisa Lund, they've owned this team for a long time, over 2 decades in the Valley. They are the best in the business, and they will walk you through the process, whether it's refinancing now or probably more importantly, a new home loan. Let them do all the heavy lifting for you. Call today, 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940 or online, lundmortgage.com.
Arizona offers thousands of helpful resources for service members, veterans, and their families. But navigating the system can be confusing and overwhelming. Call 866-4AZ-VETS to talk directly to caring people professionally trained to help you. Get connected to resources and benefits at no cost. Just call 866-4AZ-VETS now. This message is brought to you by the Arizona Coalition for Military Families, the Arizona Department of Veteran Services, and Arizona's Be Connected partners.
Eating, working, living pain-free. These are a few of the things many of us take for granted. Yet for many United States military veterans, finding and affording oral health care is a challenge many of us don't think about. Dental Lifeline Network is looking for dentists who can change this. DLN is asking dentists and their teams to volunteer to see one veteran with special needs one time per year. Visit willyouseeonevet.org to learn more. That's willyouseeonevet.org.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM. And K240U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Friday. We made it. That's right. It's Friday here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. Got Keon Rhodes in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. That is your number to be a part of the program. And, of course, we are broadcasting live in the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale. Speaking of Harman Solar, we are Ralphless today. It's kind of weird. We kind of got used to Ralph for a few more moments. You know what I'm saying? He was here 4 times.
He's no longer here.
Who am I going to pick on? Keon's too nice to pick on. And then even if you do have something to pick on him for, the flash rage, the anger, I fear for everybody's safety. So I got to be careful with Keon and, or Andy. Well, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. So that don't sound very sporting. So, I just don't know who I'm going to pick on. Oh, look, it's Mr. Wilbur. You're blind. Wilbur says, Jeffrey, step aside. This is going to get ugly. Randy, pour me a shot of Buffalo Trace and a shot of Whistle Pig and a shot of Angel's Envy.
Wow.
Make it fast.
Wow.
Wilbur, if you're not careful, you'll drink yourself blind. Okay, so what's the problem, Mr. Wilbur? All horrible jokes aside, what's the problem there, buddy? Berg says, good afternoon, gentlemen. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, Berg. Hope all is well with you, my friend. It is a pretty good start to the day. I don't know what Wilbur's getting on the bender about, but Damar Hamlin today, his breathing tube was removed. I'm sure you've all heard this, and he's talking to his family, and he got on a FaceTime with his teammates, and he says, hey, I love you guys. And everybody is just a huge sigh of relief. So that's good news right there.
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
great news, man. Fantastic news.
We didn't know if he was going to live or die on Monday night. And here we are with him recovering and doing just fine. So I guess the other question I have is, he's okay now. So I hope this isn't sort of, I don't know, is this bad taste for me to say? I wonder how long it'll be till he can play again? Because that's what he wants to do. I'm not saying it because, I have any skin in the game. I'm not a Bills fan. He's not a player you'd have on fantasy football, but that's his dream. The first thing he said when he came to was, did we win? And all he cared about were his boys. So how long after an injury like that do you imagine it would be before he could get on out on the practice field? I mean, he's on the IR right now. They did officially put him on the IR and call up a cornerback. So that's the official stance.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long it takes to recover from this.
I can only imagine that they want to find out what caused this cardiac arrest. What was the issue? Was there a hereditary issue in the heart? Or was it
it was a freak thing?
Well, but they're not going to send him out. Well, you had a freak thing. Good luck. Here's your helmet. See you later.
Of course, they'll do a lot of deep digging.
Well, that's what I mean. I think it's going to be a while until they do a deep dive on what's going on here.
You're 100% correct, Randy. And one of our resident doctors here, the surgeon, Screaming Eagle, says they will need to do more tests to see if he's susceptible to this type of arrest for future plays before a decision can be made.
Yeah.
All right. So that's very, very reasonable, Screaming Eagle. But to me, I don't think this. I mean, what do I know? I'm not a doctor. It doesn't seem like this is a hereditary thing. It seems like this is just that freak 1 in a billion chance you get hit right at the right moment in just the right way, and it drops you. So hey, I hope that is it. Well, I hope it was a freak thing, because if it's not, he may not get to play again, and that's what he's been working so hard for. Go ahead, Keon.
I know the soccer player Christian Eriksen, who collapsed from a similar thing in the Euro Cup 2020. Took him 259 days to return from that. It was a very similar. He was on the field. They had to have.
He got hit or just dropped. So that's the thing. Was there an impact, or did he just have a heart attack? Two different instances, then you can't compare.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And I was going to check out the hockey player there and figure out what his timetable was, because that one was an impact.
Sure. If we have something that we can actually compare this to, some kid in sports, this sort of stuff is like, holy crap, what just happened? But it has happened more than a couple times, to younger players for whatever reason. A lot of this happens in baseball. Somebody takes a line drive to the chest just at the right moment, and it's the same sort of situation. So I'm just asking, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but that's the first thing he's asking. And like I told you guys before, when my son came to after he had to have a medical procedure, I'm not going to go into what that was about. His first question wasn't, where is dad? Where is mom? His first question he just said out loud was, do I still get to play football? So this is going to be on Damar Hamlin's mind. Just like to see if we can compare it to something.
Yeah. It's going to be tough to compare it to Chris Pronger, because he actually went back 4 days later, but he was only out for 20 seconds, whereas Damar Hamlin was down for 10 minutes without his own heartbeat. And so obviously the damage done to the body in that window is going to be much more for Damar than it would be for Chris Pronger. So there's not really a clear comparison, because it's such a freak accident that doesn't happen that often.
I bet he comes back next year. I bet you see him in training camp.
Well, let's hope.
That's what I think.
Let's hope he gets back sooner rather than later.
Mr. Wilbur says, no, all is good. I just feel like day drinking. All right.
Wow.
I have had it,
Look,
Mr. Wilbur.
It's a Friday.
I will not get between a man and his drink. Go on. Lost Toby says, like Chris Bosch, he is not coming back. And me, Wilbur, regained his sight and saw what he looked like in the mirror. Oh, that's what he was. He was just badly typing, but insulting Mr. Wilbur.
I don't even know if you can compare it to the Chris Bosch thing, because Chris Bosch had blood clots in the blood vessels in his lungs. And then they said he got better and he came back, and then the blood clots returned. So that's a very different scenario. Yeah.
Good call. CK says, good afternoon, fellas. Thank you for those ASU tickets. Jeffrey, pick on Donnie. That's always fun. Randy, pour me a church music and a shot of Don Julio Silver. What's church music? Is that beer or whiskey?
I think he means the organ, maybe.
Church music, I believe, is a craft beer.
Oh.
CK, please clarify, because Yeah, I've never heard of that. Is it good? Have you had it?
No, I have not.
No. Okay. Mr. Pringle says, when's Ralph coming back? When he feels like it. Boogie says, Pronger, the hockey player, waited 10 days to return. But to be fair, he is a hockey player. Yeah, well said, Boogie. 888-368-1580. So we need to figure some stuff out, okay? Great news about Damar Hamlin. Bad news is, they canceled, outright completely canceled Bengals Bills. And that has left a lot of our fantasy football league championships in limbo. And I'll be honest, I thought that they would come out and say, hey, here's how we're going to take care of this. They did not. Here's what they said. Week 17 scores and matchup results have been updated to reflect the cancellation of the Bills-Bengals game. This may have resulted in changes to Week 17 winners, as well as matchups for Week 18. By the way, we don't have a Week 18. We remind league managers that you can use custom tools to adjust results as your league deems appropriate. So basically, they punted, and we got to figure this out on our own. I'm very disappointed in that. So in the 5 o'clock hour, fantasy girl Rosalie Michaels will join us, and we will try to come up with an idea. I'm sure she's got her finger on the pulse of what everybody else across the country are doing to try to do this. I hope that her solution isn't just simply give her the trophy, because then we're just going to hang up on her immediately. But yeah, I mean, even if we just look at the Premier League and you look at the matchup between Moist One and Thundar the Santa Barbarian, they both have, Bills players and Bengals players. They both, and this could very well decide the outcome. And this is even in one league, this one guy he's only down by 6 points, and he has one of the kickers. So even that matchup, could matter. So I don't think anybody is going to be 100% happy on how this thing gets figured out, but we do need to decide how to figure it out. So we'll discuss this and hopefully get it sorted. Even now, if we decide on a Friday, okay, well, let's extend it to Week 18, and that means that everybody's championship game is now next week. We're telling you this on a Friday. You haven't had a chance to work a waiver wire if you have an issue or a problem. None of this feels right, but right or wrong, we're going to have to find a solution. I don't know if the NFL changing their rules on the fly was the right idea on how they're dealing with stuff, because, more than a few people are feeling a little bit hosed on that deal. Now that Hamlin is going to recover and doing better, people are now ready to speak their mind about what they're not happy about. And Zach Taylor is one of them. He says, it's important for the team to know what is supposed to happen. Here's why: because the NFL has approved a plan for a possible neutral site AFC title game. And in this whole, getting rid of that Bills-Bengals game, a lot of stuff has gone into, sort of limbo. So let me tell you how this whole thing works. If Buffalo and Kansas City both win or tie, Bills-Chiefs championship game, neutral site. If Buffalo and Kansas City both lose and Baltimore wins or ties, a Bills-Chiefs championship game would be at a neutral site. If the Buffalo and Kansas City teams both lose and Cincinnati wins, a Bills or Bengals versus Chiefs championship game would be at a neutral site. And if the Ravens win Sunday over the Bengals and are matched against Cincinnati in an AFC wildcard game, the site would be determined by a coin flip. If Cincinnati wins, or if the two teams aren't matched against each other after a potential Ravens win, regular scheduling procedures will be used. So even just that's a mess, right? But this whole process on how they've decided things is not the way that it's supposed to be in the rule books. It's supposed to be done a different way. And like I said, the Bengals aren't too thrilled about the whole thing. Here's what Zach Taylor says. He says, nice to have our ownership and front office support players like they have, and that's important. But, hey, guys, there are several instances this season when the club was fined or people in our building were fined and said, hey, follow the rules. It's black and white. It's in the rule book. So now when we point out, hey, the rules, you guys aren't following the rules in dealing with this, and they say, well, we're going to change that. So that just basically means we don't want to hear about fair and equitable when that's the case. So, tell me, Keon, why are they not just following what the rule book says? Because there are rules in place about this sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing that's pretty curious about this. I don't know why they're not following the rules. And I think Zach Taylor's 100% right. They never hesitate to fine anyone for breaking sometimes even the most minor throwaway of rules. They'll come down really hard on teams. So to change the stuff on the fly, it does seem very unfair. I think Zach Taylor has a point, and I don't know why they're choosing to go about it this way, unless it's just an idea where, you know what, we're going to make things, very comfortable for people in the league office to make decisions, which is obviously coming at the detriment of some of these teams.
Yeah, this is curious to say the least. And when you asked the NFL, they said there's no perfect solution. Well, there is if you follow the rules, right? But okay. As we considered the football schedule, our principles have been to limit disruption across the league and minimize competitive inequities. But there's still going to be an inequity, and the people who are being inequified, they get to actually have something to say. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Listen, I don't mind being on the wrong end of the equity issue, but if you had followed that rule and I'm on the wrong end of the equity issue, I'll allow that because that's in the rule books. But if now suddenly I'm suffering because you decided to change a rule for some other reason, now I got a problem with it.
Yeah, it's like you always said about the overtime rule. If that's the rule, then that's the rule.
It's the rule.
And no point in complaining about it. I do think that some of that does apply to this, where the league should have just said, you know what, we made these procedures for this reason, and let's just go ahead and follow it. And yeah, if it's unfair, we can all look. That's what we have these meetings at the end of the season for. That's what the competition committee is for, and all of those gatherings. They are to change the rules that are unfair. But if you change it in the middle of the season, they don't apply to everybody. They only apply to some people because earlier in the season the rules were different. So that's just not fair.
The executive vice president for the Bengals, Katie Blackburn, she came out and said, listen, the proper process for making rule change is in the off season. It's not appropriate to put teams in position to vote for something because that may introduce bias or favor for one team over another, and then it impacts their own situation when the vote takes place immediately before the playoffs. And again, it's just more of like, why are we just not following the original rules we all agreed to? You want to change them? Fine, do that in the off season. But right now, here's where we are. We should be following that.
Yeah. And the other problem with changing the rules and having these teams vote before the playoffs is they might do what's in the best interest of the team right now. And that very same team, maybe 3 years from now, may not agree with that rule, but you're putting them in a position where they're going to choose their self-interest because that's how that goes.
And in the off season, you're not thinking about your interest. You're considering the validity of the concept,
right?
What would be the right way to deal with this? Not, will this affect us? We're on the same page.
The best time to change the rules is when we're all undefeated, when we all don't have a record. We're all 0-0.
Hookem Hadi says the whole NFL statement was written by lawyers. What do those guys know? Definitely not how to follow rules. By the way, Hookem Hadi is a lawyer herself.
A lawyer, yep.
That's more the little concerning.
Yeah,
Randy Struckle says, to see if it's safe for Hamlin to return, we should probably test that. Can we put Ralph in front of a rodeo bull and check the results?
I don't see how Ralph.
Wow.
Can I just
what
say,
did Ralph do?
Even though it probably would do no good as far as Hamlin's concerned, I'll allow it. Silly Wabbit says, I think a fair way to handle the fantasy leagues is give everyone the Bills and Bengals players projected points and then see how it works out and declare a winner from that. Yeah, but see, projected points doesn't really tell the full story. You got Stephon Diggs. Remember, those projections are set at the beginning of the year. They are not updated. So it was just somebody sat down and says, oh, what do you think of this? I don't think those get adjusted, and they're often wrong. Stephon Diggs could probably cook out about 30 points easily, but he'll probably be on there for 18 as a projected point total. You know what I mean? So then you got T. Higgins on the other side of that. You have some other players that are involved. So I get that. That's the easy way out, Silly Wabbit. And believe me, I might take the easy way out. But I'd like to find another way, though. I mean, I would almost rather see if what would happen if we just made them play the game this week? Now, the complaint is going to be some players aren't going to play. Some players are injured after last week. So there's no fair in this. But like I said, let's sort it out, get some ideas with Rosalie Michaels in the 5 o'clock hour and try to find the best one. I mean, what do you guys think of my idea? Maybe we just push this thing and let the two championship teams play each other in week 18 instead of 17.
Well, if it's a championship game, I agree with that 110%. I figure other teams, like I'm using my own team because I'm playing Ralph this week, and unfortunately, Ralph has.
It doesn't matter.
Well, what I'm saying is other games other than championship games. I mean, my game with Ralph is like a 7th place game, for example.
Right.
What does it have to do with anything?
Nothing.
So I say you probably just take that whole thing between me and Ralph off the board, right?
Well, I don't know if I have the ability to do that, but if I bump up a week, that just means they get to play. Now, if you end up with another consolation game and that's just screw around fun, you play it, don't play it, doesn't matter. We're just trying to find
right. I think the championship games, championship games need to be played though, and I think that would be the only fair and equitable thing to do.
Yeah, I think Randy's right. I would say that it may not be fair, like you said, that some teams are going to bench players and all of that stuff, but at least there's a chance you can determine that on the field. At least there's a chance you can look at it and say, all right, well, I know this team's in a position where they might not play their starter. So I'm going to have to you at least get to make fantasy football decisions about a fantasy football game.
Well, the other problem is people who are winning this week, if they end up losing on the next week, they're going to be like, oh, well, if we'd have done this last week, I would have won.
Maybe, but there's going to be no fair way to do this. Someone's getting hosed no matter what decision we make. We're just trying to make sure that it's the least amount of that as possible.
Well, maybe Rosalie Michaels has an idea we haven't even thought of yet. So we'll talk about this more in 2 hours. Right now, we have to take a break. We come back. I'll get back to your texts on the text line. And we've got a whole bunch of other stuff to talk about before we do dive into some football. We got some NBA, some MLB, and other assorted things too. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update for Arizona's new home for sports, The Fanatic. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Arizona, 14-point road underdog on Sunday when they take on the San Francisco 49ers. Arizona plus 700 on the money line, while the 49ers are minus 110. Over-under sits at 39.5. The Seahawks are a 6-point home favorite against the Rams, staying in the NFC West. Seattle needs a win and some help in order to get into the postseason. The Rams are 5-11. That is the worst record of any defending Super Bowl champion. Los Angeles plus 225 on the money line. Seattle minus 275. Over under is at 41.5. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% when you use the promo code ACTION75. Experts.winnersandwiners.com. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about that sound? You're listening to a set of GE appliances, complete with all you need to keep food fresh, dishes clean, and everything else stress-free. Making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Get up to 25% off select GE appliances right now. Offer valid January 5th through January 25th, 2023. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
One of the things I love about betting on the National Football League is that I'm always finding new player or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. Perfect for this weekend's game slate. Same game parlay is just one of the reasons I bet with FanDuel. It's also easy to use. They feature live betting. My friends use it, and there's odds boost and specials each week. There is no feeling like nailing a same game parlay bet. So lock in your bet today on FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up today with my promo code Randy1580 for your no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's promo code Randy1580 on the FanDuel FanDuel Sportsbook app, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You must be 21 or older, present in Arizona. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342.
Homeowners age 62 and older, now is time to act. This is Rob Canyon, retirement mortgage specialist and host of the Retire Right with Reverse Rob show on 1510 KFNN. Yes, listing prices are down, but home values still remain at very high levels. Don't wait to learn more about the new and improved home equity conversion mortgage. This is a safe and proven coordinated strategy in retirement, which will improve your monthly cash flow, lower your tax liabilities, and make your retirement portfolio last longer. Call me today, Reverse Rob at 602-REVERSE, or on the web at www.reverserob.com.
When it comes to covering the high school sports scene in Arizona, AZ Preps 365 has all the answers. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 10, they break down games, interview the newsmakers, talk with coaches from around the state, and stay up to date with what's happening with prep athletes and breaking news from the Arizona prep scene. It's AZ Preps 365, 8 till 10 Saturday mornings on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
It's time once again for the Harmon Solar 1580 The Fanatic NFL Fan Pick'em Contest. First prize is $1,580 from Harmon Solar. Second prize, a Zebra e-bike from Hemingway. And $500 third prize from Harmon Solar. Sign up today. Go to 1580thefanatic.com. The Harmon Solar 1580 The Fanatic NFL Fan Pick'em Contest. From your home for the NFL in the Valley. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of the Daily Blender in the first hour here as we work our way through until 6 o'clock tonight. Rosalie Michael after 5 o'clock, and we'll be talking about some fantasy football things. But let me talk for a minute about some of the NFL football that's happening this weekend. NFL on the FanDuel is a lot of fun because you can set up game props, player props during games. They can help you actually lay a little money down and make a big return. What's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine prop bets with other bets from the same game for an even bigger payout. Perfect for this weekend's slate of games. I mean, I don't know who your favorite team is, who you follow, or maybe you've just you're not a big fan of any one team. Maybe you just like the NFL football and you're looking for a little action on the side here. Well, wait, no.
What? Oh.
No. Money wise.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That just kind of drew this whole thing to a grinding halt. Anyway, so 49ers, Cardinals in action this weekend. Perhaps you might take, I don't know, maybe over the point total, maybe quarterback over passing yards, maybe a specific running back to score a touchdown during the game. There you go. You just built yourself same game parlay. It's got to be 3 legs or more. Feel free to build it out the way you want. Or if you can't figure out one yourself, FanDuel has got a great selection of already pre-built same-game parlays for you that other bettors have built out, and that's what they're placing their money on. Feel free to jump in on that. Anyway you do it, it's easy to do, easy to use, easy to set up. Live betting, so you can make your bet fast during a game if you see a trend you like. And by the way, when you win, FanDuel's not going to hold on to your winnings. They pay you fast. There's no feeling like nailing a same game parlay. So lock in your bet today on FanDuel. Just use my promo code Randy1580 for your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 if you are a new user on FanDuel Sportsbook. That's Randy1580 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You must be 21 or older, and you must be present in the state of Arizona. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. Jeffco.
Boomer Sooner going to take you to church right now. He says, good day, guys. I've always heard the longer you go with no oxygen, the greater the chance of some damage. If he doesn't have anything wrong, I think that is the power of prayer, he says.
No kidding.
Or in no short amount of credit, well, how about the guy who was, Johnny on the spot doing those compressions and getting him shocked back and working his ass off to save his life? Whatever you want to put on that. My first thank you goes to that guy who they put a story up about him, but I've already forgotten his name. But the that guy on the staff, whatever you want to think,
assistant trainer. Yeah, he was out there inside of a minute.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, for whatever all these good thoughts, these prayers, these vibes, whatever you want to put on it, couldn't hurt. Couldn't hurt.
Denny Kellington.
There you go, Kellington. That's right. But yeah, I mean, whatever you place on it, it can't hurt. Pickle D says, all right, for the fantasy football stuff, league managers should adjust the scores based on the original projected total for each player. I say this as someone who has a current huge lead in the championship due to the cancellation. Again, the projected numbers don't always tell the story. Those projected numbers were set before you knew that, say, Stephon Diggs was going to have the kind of year he's having, or that Jefferson would have the year he's having, or that T. Higgins is having the year he's having. So it might not be enough. We may need to look at those. How about this instead, guys? What if we went back and we sort of looked at the stats that the player had gotten in previous games, not do an average, but just sort of look at games where they played similar defenses. If it was, or if they had played the same team before, to kind of get an idea. Even that's not fair. There's nothing fair here. There's nothing fair. Screaming Eagle says, so do you think a possible neutral site might be Indianapolis? It would make a lot of sense. It's a good facility and it's centrally located. Some people are saying because of the teams involved, you should just do it outside. Pick an outside stadium. Where would that be? Detroit? I mean, is that inside or outside?
No, Detroit's inside.
Detroit's inside.
It already just smells like it's outside.
But earlier this year, when Buffalo had adverse weather conditions, that terrible storm that came through there, they moved it to a dome stadium. So
nobody's saying let's have a blizzard game, but let's put it outside just to sort of equalize the whatever advantage.
I mean, I get that. I understand that. I'm just saying, people are also going to say, well, they moved it on the blizzard. They moved it to a dome stadium. So I don't know. This is really a crazy snafu that's happened here.
Choro says, F no, play grass. Indianapolis is a dome. He says, play it in Arizona. Well, yeah, it's also, but yeah, we have real grass. So I'll get you there.
And our roof can open as opposed to other places.
We could turn the AC down really, really cold though.
For wind. Well, Choro, you're right. Real grass. I mean, listen, they should all have real grass, but that's another argument for another time. Big George says, hello, gentlemen. Happy Friday. As a point of order, what do the current rules state should happen? I don't have that in front of me, but from what everybody's saying, this ain't it. Keon, maybe you can get the actual rule on that. Boogie says, the Bengals and Buffalo game being canceled really messed up my game. How's anyone good with this? How is anyone supposed to get a good night's sleep, not knowing who actually won the game, to make it into the 7th place there in League 5? Well, you and Randy have the same complaints, which I'm going to promptly ignore.
I don't have any complaints. I don't care. Either it's a 7th place game. I really give a rip.
Yeah, there's only one place, that it does matter, though, Randy. The only place that does matter is in the Premier League, because you have to be within a certain, ranking to stay. The whole 4 teams in, 4 teams out thing.
I don't care.
You're just playing Ralph, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But for other people trying to hold on to their position and or trying not to leave the Premier League, it won't matter this year, but it very well could have. Big Stanky says, so what's going to happen with fantasy football? That is what we're trying to find out, my friend. Lost Toby says, points should just stay where they are. It's like an injury. Tough crap. One other league I'm in is giving them whatever points they give this week to last week. I hate that, but it's an option. Yeah, I consider that too. So those same players play this week. We grab those totals and we put them into there and see what happens. What do you guys think of that? Actually, that might be one of the better solutions.
You mean take their last week's score and
No,
apply it to
take-
this week?
Take this week's score for only the players on the Bills and the Bengals. Whatever they get this week, you take that and you add it to the totals from last week, and there's where you find out who wins. I actually think, for me, that's a favorite.
That is the most fair because it removes the having to play the entire
Right.
game again.
Mhm.
Like you said, if somebody had a gigantic lead and then they had to do it again, and this week, of course, their guys maybe don't play the way that they were supposed to, or
The only inequity would be, are those players going up against better or worse defenses? But that's it. There's going to be issues with whatever we do, but golly, I kind of like this because these are stars. Like we said, these are great players who should do well against any defensive situation. We should look into who where's my sheet?
it is going to change the matchups, but like that
By
was going
how
to be the
much, though?
case if you played the whole game again, but then you reduce the extra
Yeah,
noise
you're
of
right.
not having, the
Would
the-
it
the
be
players
an
guys get.
extreme difference between the those players and the defense that they're playing this week, or is it comparable? That's something I'm going to go in and take a look at here in a little bit.
And by the way, the rule that we are discussing, and Joe Mixon just saved me a lot of trouble by tweeting the screenshot on his
God bless you, Joe
on his
Mixon.
Twitter page. But the competitive policy for canceled games says that if a game is canceled, a team standing in its division or in its conference shall be determined on the basis of its final record. When necessary, playoff tiebreakers shall be calculated according to per game average for all teams. So by going with the percentages to rank this, they are basically overstepping the bounds of the policy of the canceled games. They should be doing it based on record, even if one team has one fewer game.
Why are they not doing that, you think? Is it to give a warm fuzzy to the Bills? Is that what this is? Why are they not using the original idea then?
That I think is probably because of the way it's calculated out. Potentially, maybe it gives the Bills the chance to get that number one seed anyway.
So then why are
which
they
they'd be out of the runnings for it, or maybe the Bengals to
Well, the Bengals
definitively
are
win that division, the AFC North, because the
Right.
Ravens are right there.
The Bengals are sitting there saying we should just follow the rules. And if the rules favor the Bills, so be it. If the Bengals are saying,
I think the
let's-
Bengals are worried about themselves. And then when I think about it, I think the Ravens, they're only separated by a game, I think, in terms of winning the AFC North. So if the Ravens could somehow pull off a win this weekend and the Bengals weren't able to win, well, then, they'd be behind on the basis of having one fewer game played.
Choro says, NFL not following their own rules? You don't say. He also says, I'd say if the game was within 10 points and they both had players playing, split it 50-50. If not, go 75-25. Well, that's just getting complicated. We don't do math around here, Choro. You should know better than that. Let's see. Tiger Paws says, well, my brother's really happy because he was playing me and he was about 6 points ahead of me. And I was going to kick his butt by about 20 because I had Burrows. And the 2.5 points I got obviously gave him the win. Well, those 2.5 points will be wiped away. So I don't know which league you're talking about, but that'll have to get fixed somehow. Harry Soap says, I would love to see the Raiders beat the Chiefs. Give some justice to the Bills, maybe to Cincinnati in the terms of playoff seedings. Yeah, I just don't see that happening. Love to, but will not happen. CK says, Fantasy Football Solutions. Here we go. Number one, the score is what it is, but if it's close enough, they split the pot. Okay. 2, take the Bills and Bengals scores this week and use them for the Week 17 game. Yes, we like that one. 3, each team replaces the higher bench scorers. Oh, that's another idea. You look at their bench, you take the highest bench scorers they have, put them in the position, and there's your score. What do you guys think of that?
Well, some people are going to have multiple guys that are playing. For example, Ralph, I can only go from my game. Ralph's got 3 guys that were playing in that game.
Problem is Yeah, not everybody has as strong a bench.
Well, that's what I
and-
mean. I don't think his bench
and-
would equal what he could have made
And,
during that
yeah,
game.
That's the thing. Like the people who maybe built their team where they've got strong starters, but
Right.
they're just not very deep.
See, I think
shouldn't
that-
be punished for not being deep because they didn't
Right.
expect to even play those guys.
I like
comes-
this idea, but I'm going to say it's number 2 for me. Go
What
ahead.
come-
Ricky,
yeah,
sorry.
coming to my mind is taking this week's scores for these players and putting them on last week's game.
Mhm. Yeah, so far in my brain, that's the front runner. Kiss the Cook says, "Smelly bag of asses." Why? Why?
There's
you mean
no
is that
context.
a
there.
fantasy team?
I just
I don't think Radio Ron's going to prove that as a text or nickname. I
No.
can tell you that right now.
did anybody say "smelly bag of asses," or is he calling us a smelly bag of asses?
Not sure what's
I
happening.
don't know. The mental image that brings up is it's very
smelly
hurtful. I just
Bag of asses.
I can't even say I'm hurt. I'm perplexed. Kyle G says, "Why don't we just keep the scores from last week and add the scores from?" Yeah, here we go again. The Bengals and Bills. That's the one that I think people are liking the best.
is the
Birds-
bag itself smelly?
You're still stuck on the
Yeah,
smelly bag
I'm
of
sorry, I
asses?
can't get over.
Well, I mean, butts can
Smelly
smell.
bag of
Yeah.
asses,
Well, I mean,
or a smelly bag of asses.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Today is Radio Ron's birthday, and I think that he is hopefully good and drunk on a golf course someplace
Mm.
and not even paying attention to this. I don't want him to have to just sort. Keon is going to wake up at 3 a.m. Smelly bag or smelly bag of asses? Ah! So I don't need Ron doing that.
Mhm.
So what was I saying? Okay, when you have Rosalie on, says Berg, you think she would be okay with 4th place going against Burrow. I think Burrow would easily get more than 0.5 points as he had in the limited time they played. I don't understand what he's saying. Are you just trying to win the league, Berg? Because I don't understand what you're saying. Baker's Cocky Hen says, use their projections because those are always accurate. He says, oh, by the way, sarcasm implied. Yeah, we need I'd say we need a sarcastic font and it should be called Sarcastica. That's just me. Pro Dog says, shouldn't the championship games be 2 weeks? What? Huh? No. What? Now,
There are leagues that do it that way, but
smelly bag of asses is what got Keon 2-week championship game. That's what got me. And what are you talking about? There's some leagues that do that.
The instead of doing it just on week 17, it's a total of week 17 and week 18.
For real?
Why the hell would they do that?
I don't know. They like chaos. I
never heard of such a thing.
I've never actually witnessed it with my own eyes, but I have been told by a friend that, yeah, they were in a league that did it that way. I have no idea why.
Smelly bag of asses. Pinocchio says, are we sure fantasy football projected stats aren't updated weekly? Like, how could they project points for Baker Mayfield starting for the Rams?
See, I thought the projections were the league average for that position.
No.
Against whatever defense you're playing.
No. You know what? It's a good question.
No,
though.
it's based on that player's average, I think, for the season. Because I have seen it.
Well, then how
adjust-
do you have projections at the beginning of the season?
Do
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any
I think
reality
there is
projections.
some guesswork too.
How
Obviously,
many?
but-
I got players that I plugged in there that for the entire season that said they'll get 3 points, and I got 30. You know what I'm saying?
but I have seen the projections adjust because I remember out of desperation,
Not by much.
I started Brock Purdy, and the original one was like, hey, he'll get 15. And then when he got me 25, and then he did it again, and then he did it again, he started being projected in the 20s.
Pickle D says projections are updated week to week. Well, if that is the case, then why is it you don't see higher projections for some of the superstars? That's the thing. This is always.
I think that they don't want to reach too much because it does depend on matchup. Even with superstars, it's, you go to a bad matchup, that you might get half what you usually get.
I think what the reason that I am leaning towards letting those players play this week and using those scores on last week for the Bengals and the Chiefs, I think the reason I'm really leaning towards that, it's not speculation. It's a fact. Here's this, there it is. You know what I'm saying? I think we're doing that now, unless Rosalie has some better ideas or we get some better ideas. I'm pretty sure we're going to go that direction. So, but listen, I'm still open to more of your guys' great ideas. I know we're running late for a break, so let's get this done now. We'll come back, talk some more. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Seems like everything is going electric these days. Electric cars, electric trucks. But what you save on gas, you pay for with that electric bill. With all these things being plugged into your house, wouldn't it be nice to save up to 85% on your monthly electric bill? Well, you can do that with zero down and no payments for 12 months. Call Harmon Solar. Harmon Solar is the family-owned, woman-owned local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar, 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go to harmonsolar.com.
ADOT's I-10 Broadway Curve Improvement Project is in the works. It's an 11-mile stretch of Interstate 10 between Loop 202 and I-17. When complete, your travel time through the area will be reduced. Access to Sky Harbor, retail centers, and colleges will be improved, and the region will be able to better support a growing economy and more. Keep up with the project and traffic updates at i10broadwaycurve.com and stay ahead of the curve. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Department of Transportation.
What is my portfolio worth? How much money will I need to retire? Are my investments working? Am I properly diversified?
Hi, I'm Mo Ansari, president of Compact Asset Management and host of Market Wrap. If these questions are keeping you up at night, maybe it's time to get some answers. Give me a call at 1-800-388-9700 and let's set aside some time to review your portfolio so you can get an accurate picture of your investments. I will meet with you personally and introduce you to the entire team here at Compact Asset Management. Together, we'll develop an understanding of your current financial position and create a plan to help you reach your financial goals using our holistic approach to wealth management. Call now for your free portfolio review, 1-800-388-9700. That's 1-800-388-9700.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
Before becoming a professional announcer, I took the announcer oath, which forbids me from misleading listeners.
Just wrap your heads around the reality of that.
That means I speak the truth when I say you can listen to us on your smart speaker. Just say, listen to 1580 The Fanatic.
Hey, it's Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. So we should probably move on to other things because, Rosalie Michaels will show up. We'll sort this thing out and then we'll all move on with our lives. Aren't you glad we can? Aren't you glad there was not a umbrella holding rainy day funeral type of outcome to this? This is the best scenario we could have hoped for.
Absolutely.
So, whatever annoyance you have as a fantasy football player, keep that in your mind. Hey, at least the dude didn't die. And we'll all go on with our lives, including him. 888-368-1580. Screaming Eagle says, Keon, the Bengals host the Ravens this weekend.
That's right. So I mean that would I guess just win the game, I guess would be the answer to that. But I also think the Bengals have an objection to where the AFC title game would be played. The highest the team with the best record would host the AFC title game. If you make it an automatic neutral location, then I guess Zach Taylor's point is, what the hell are we playing for?
Right.
With all this work all year long, trying to win as many games as possible. And the league just steps in and says, hey, neutral site, because that was listed in the rules that they posted as well.
Berg, his whole reason for what he said earlier, he says he's in the third place game in the Premier League. Rosalie's up 0.5 points headed to Monday night. He has Joe Burrows. Well, if you do the thing where I think we're going to do, you will get third place, Berg. But I thought I saw you in there as third place anyway. I don't know. Nobody cares about anything with the championship, so we're not going to deal with that. But no, I hear you, man. CK says, yeah, they definitely adjust projections week to week. All right, then I don't ever agree with projections, and I always ignore projections. I go along with stats, man. You got to look at the stats from 2 weeks, 4 weeks. What are the trends in the year? What are they doing against certain defenses? That's what you should be looking at. Projections are lazy. Lost Toby says, I think it's more looking into if they play similar defenses and have equal drop-offs. Hefty Lefty says, I played in a 2-week championship league, and it's kind of nice because it reduces the chances of the random great week by one team and a terrible week by the other team. I am actually should we do that in the Premier League next year? Just to see how it is? Wouldn't that be something?
I'm never in a position for it to help me. So,
oh brother,
I vote whatever the majority votes.
Okay. Boogie says, what if we do rock, paper, scissors for league championships and 7th place games? Okay, guys. Thundar Stand Barbarian says, sorry, I've got to dash off to a meeting. I'm a very important man. But as someone who is way behind my current opponent in the Premier League championship game, I think the idea of using this week's scores for Bengals and Bills players makes the most sense. Moiswin had a huge game last week, and it's not fair to take those points away from him. I think it's highly unlikely that Stephon Diggs and T. Higgins will get me enough points to overcome that deficit, but I don't want to forfeit and throw up my hands. I'll accept whatever the ruling from Jeffrey O'Brien, the commissioner, is, but for what it's worth, that is my 2 cents. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I noticed about that matchup in Premier League. He has those 2 players. It's going to take a great game by both of them, but it's not impossible. And so, there's just no right answer, but why not flip a coin, Baker's Cocky Hens? It's good enough for the largest sports league in the entire world, apparently. Yeah. I just want to try to do better than they do. Kyle G says, alternative ideas. Championship owners get to do a new draft of only players on playoff teams and face each other wild card weekend.
Did he say nude?
Yes, he did. And it's kind of Kyle G.
Sort of odd.
Don't think you can
nude.
How will you? Shame on you, Kyle G.
Yeah.
Kiss the Cook says, oh, no. That was not intended for the fourth dimension. Oh, he said smelly bag of asses. That was sorry. He goes, that was for the friends I'm camping with. Oh, geez, please bless the starving pygmies in Africa and everything. I didn't mean that.
Well, Keon feels better.
Why would you assume that Keon would be the smelly bag of ashes?
I didn't say.
Well, no, he was the one having the problem with what did that mean?
The existential crisis.
And I'm still going to be struggling with it, even though it's not intended for us. It still doesn't make it any less confusing.
Now it makes sense. They're camping. Someone's not showering, and then, as you know, a bunch of guys get together. You're farting. So that's a smelly bag of ashes right there. I'll tell you that. So, okay, Kiss the Cook. Now it all makes sense. And Keon can sleep well. Choro says, 3rd place, LOL, way to aim high, Berg. You don't understand. It's very competitive in Premier League, and you have to fight for your survival there. Every game is important in Premier League, and bragging rights, over Rosalie, you don't blame him. You do the same thing, Choro. Lost Toby says, last final I was in, it was 2 weeks. I ended week 1 up 40 and lost week 2 by 40.1. Craziness, the craziest finals ever. Oh, in a 2-week thing. So yeah, that is golly, what do you think, Keon? Randy has like this whole woe is me, I'll never win thing. So what do you think? Should we do a 2-week finals? I didn't even see that as a choice in the NFL.com thing.
And I don't know if it even is a choice in that particular platform, but yeah, a lot of people have fun with it, because it means that, after week 17, you're not necessarily out, and it gives you, another week of tinkering with your team. And again, it's only the championship teams that get to do that and get to experience that and enjoy it. So it is kind of like a halftime adjustment period. If
like when Kiss the Cook texted in smelly bag of asses, I'm intrigued. Hefty Lefty said Blazing Saddles immediately comes to mind when they're eating beans when you hear smelly bag of asses. You know what? You were absolutely right, Hefty Lefty. Well done. 888-368-1580. So let's shift gears here a little bit. Let's talk about some non-NFL things. And one of them that broke just a little bit ago, the Mavericks have waived Kemba Walker because they don't want to pay him. All right, Keon. So what's the deal with Kemba Walker? I mean, he had a 32-point game, just a couple of weeks ago there. Is this a guy the Phoenix Suns should be swooping in and trying to pick up?
Yes, absolutely. They need the depth, all of it that they can get, especially someone just to back up Chris Paul, if nothing else. Kemba Walker is an incredibly capable basketball player in this league. He's undersized, so it means that, defensively, sometimes teams just look at him and single him out and try to attack him specifically. But Kemba can score. That's always been true. And I think that he would be a guy that could help, especially with as shallow as the team's been with injuries.
Is he on the waiver so he's on the waiver? Are we in a position to get him? I would say we're not in a great position because even though the Suns, didn't make the championship last year, they're still high up there, right?
I would have to think so. I don't know where they are in the waiver off the top of my head. But yeah, that wouldn't be it wouldn't be likely that the Suns would be in the best position to get him, but they may be the team most desperate to get him, and other teams having different needs. He could be available.
So do you think he'd end up not picked up because nobody wants to pay that guarantee, and then after it's over, he free agencies, or you think somebody's definitely going to swoop in and take him?
I think it would be insane that somebody wouldn't try to swoop in and take him. But
how much is the guarantee, and can we afford it?
I'll have to pull up.
I'm trying to find out here. I don't see how much that is. Yeah, it's just about his regular salary, whatever that is. What do you think, Randy? Kemba Walker on the Suns? How would that affect the chemistry of this team, you think?
I don't know how it would affect the chemistry. I certainly agree with what Keon said. I think he would be a great guy, a great addition. But my question is, how would this affect the payroll, the salary?
Not at all. He signed for the veterans minimum in November. So they don't even have to ask Sarver Baker's cocky hens. That was a good thought. He doesn't have to even allow this because this is under the league average. So the Suns could say, Kemba, get on over here. We can pay you that little morsel of money. The veterans minimum, I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's less than 10 million, right?
Well, then certainly I would say yes.
Who's ahead of us, you think? I mean, who else wants him? Probably we're not going to get him. If he is as valuable as Keon has indicated, somebody with a better waiver position is going to take him. And do we have to wait until tomorrow? Like we have to sleep, like with the fantasy football, and you wake up with a bring, and oh look, Suns, you got him. Do we have to go through the same thing, or is there a phone call? I don't know how this works.
Yeah, it's I don't actually know either how long that period is between a guy getting waived and another team picking him up. But teams tend to work pretty fast on this. Let's see. My waiver list here is not the full list, unfortunately, so I don't have the full list, but the top 10 teams do not include the Phoenix Suns. I'll tell you that.
The veteran minimum for the NBA this year is $2.6 million.
Okay, easy. So the other teams you see, the top 10 waiver teams, those people are going to take him, right?
If they think he can help, and of course, if they're not necessarily in the process of tanking, like a team like the Spurs, would the Spurs want to pick up Kemba Walker right now? They're fourth on the waiver wire.
Tanking already.
They're 6-16. They're the worst team in the Western Conference. I assume that's. At the beginning of the season, Greg Popovich said, don't bet on us to make the finals this year. Yeah,
I remember that. They should have sent him home.
And Josh Primo, their young player they were hoping to build around, is gone. I think the Spurs are going to want to draft again. So no, I don't think they're going to make a move for him. I don't think a team like the Hornets necessarily would. But could the Lakers? They need guard help. Maybe that's a team that does it. Could the Thunder make that move potentially? The Bulls. So there are teams out there that would need a point guard that would look at Kemba that are in that top 10.
there will be someone between there and here that will take him. The only thing that maybe could help the Phoenix Suns is if he gets to approve who picks him up, but I doubt that. I doubt he has that sort of contractual power to you know what I'm saying? You're not on the waiver, you're not being traded. You're on the waiver, so you don't get to choose then. You have no say in it, right? There's no contract that helps that, right?
Yeah, and also there's like 7 seconds this break. I just missed the.
It's a Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. The Answer coming up next.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs.
I never really thought about tools until I bought a house in the suburbs. It's like this weird homeowner test if I need a tool for a project and don't have it. And my neighbor Ted loves to give me that look when I ask to borrow a pole saw. A year ago, I didn't even know pole saws existed. And now I gotta borrow one from Ted? What is happening?
Anyway, when you save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto, that's the easy part of adjusting to the suburbs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
Children are born learning. From birth to age 5, they develop faster than any other time in life. Great childhoods are made in these first 5 years, in play and conversation, at home and outside, in quality childcare and preschool, and in our communities, in the simple moments that help kids learn, grow, and succeed. First Things First is Arizona's early childhood agency with free programs to support great childhoods. Learn more at azchildhoods.org. Sponsored by First Things First.
Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Let me tell you why. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with my promo code Randy1580. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. With live betting, you get updated odds on games that have already begun. It's all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Sign up today with promo code Randy1580 for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code Randy1580 and make every moment more this football season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. Got to be 21 or older, present in Arizona. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342.
Business people like it straight and to the point. So here it is. Bruce Jacobs here to tell you take control of your utility expenses by calling Harmon Solar right now. They can save up to 80% on that monthly electric bill with zero down and no payments for 12 months. Level your energy costs, protect yourself from inflation. How's that for straight and to the point? Here's more. Harmon Solar is a local family-owned company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar 800-281-3189 or go to harmonsolar.com.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time, as in spaghetti sandwiches for dinner. They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. Got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. All right, we're going to sort out this whole fantasy football thing. I will say this. I went over there just sort of tinker, and they won't let me adjust the playoffs. They won't let me adjust anything with that. So I'm not even sure how we're going to be able to establish how many points these players get in the next week up. So hopefully they'll do something. You know what I'm saying? They'll come in and click a button, but gee whiz, it's like Friday, 4 p.m. And, I figured we should have this thing sorted out a little sooner, but whatever. Anyway, so let's get back to talking some basketball last night. The Grand Canyon Mighty Lopes went to overtime with the Sam Houston Bearcats. And I actually was just sort of scrolling through, and I saw on the ESPN Plus, boom, hey, look at that. That's GCU on there and a little TV there. And I watched the most agonizing end of an overtime you've ever seen. No, don't get me wrong. The Lopes won. But dear God, can we change the rules about how games end in the NCAA? Oh my God. Timeout. Oh, you gotta write up some stupid play that never works. Timeout. Oh, we gotta, and I get it. It's part of the art form. It's part of the just the way the college basketball is played. But am I wrong, Keon? Shouldn't we fix that? Or is that just part of it?
I mean, I would like to see it go personally. I don't think that losing 20 minutes of my life in real time for 5 minutes of a basketball game is particularly fun. But I also just think that there are enough people who are old school enough, like that this is what they're used to. This is how it goes. This is what they feel, makes it feel the most fair. So I don't think they're ever going to change it. But yeah, the plays, the timeouts, especially at the ends of games, it's bad in the NBA. It's so much worse in college basketball.
Yeah, it's way worse in college basketball. Yeah, and they don't, by the time you get to a certain point with the NBA, you're also dealing with people who can inbound the thing and try to make a shot. There's a little more skill involved at the NBA level. In the college level, it's just a mess. And for whatever reason, they're also learning. So then that takes extra time as they have all these ridiculous timeouts. But hey, at least the GCU Mighty Lopes won. So riddle me this, Keon, man. Sam Houston Bearcats, that's a team GCU should have just put away, right? This should have never gone to overtime.
No, this was a tough team. This was a team, they play physical. Unfortunately, in the Western Athletic Conference, all the referees are not evenly, they're not evenly distributed. So sometimes you got referees like where we are who referee the game, I'll say, more normally. Those referees in Texas, they let them play. And so those teams take advantage of that. It's a physical game. It was a tough game for the Lopes last year. It was a tough game again this year. And, this is the highest rated team, the Sam Houston Bearcats, this team that the Lopes have beaten in team history in terms of those net ratings that they have.
Aren't they both in the WAC?
Yeah, this is conference play.
Well, the Lopes are 2-0 in the WAC, and Sam Houston is 1-2 in the WAC.
Yeah, I think that part of that rating comes from, and I have to look at Sam Houston's schedule and see who they've played. But if they've knocked off some tough competition prior to playing GCU, or played bigger schools and bigger conferences and knocked those schools off, even if those schools weren't ranked, for them coming out of the WAC to go, for instance, beat an Oklahoma, beat a Utah. They're going to get a higher net rating for those wins. And that means that when the Lopes go and play them, even though the Lopes are doing well in conference play, the records are the same. Sam Houston's got a higher net rating. And so for the Lopes to knock them off, that is absolutely huge for their college basketball and for the March Madness bid that they're trying to put out. But no, this is not a team that they should have shown up and put away. They actually beat a team that was real good.
I can't take you very serious if you're called a Bearcat. That's all.
Spelled with a K too. I mean, it's just
even that's what I'm saying.
childish.
It's even worse.
Childish.
So I figured that they were just some sort of strip mall college or something. All right. So how about over to ASU taking care of business against the Washington State Cougars? They led pretty much the entire game. The Washington State Cougars, they made it a closer game here and there, but in the end, a definitive win by ASU over the Washington State Cougars.
Yeah, ASU's been rolling lately, and I think that they're playing good basketball. They were, if you ask me, bumped out of the top 25 a bit prematurely. Like one loss after you get in there.
Oh, we knew that was going to happen.
You don't suddenly stink now. No, they've been playing really good basketball this season, and I think that everybody who was calling for the head of Bobby Hurley, take it back. I mean, give this man his due, because he's absolutely shown that, when all of his guys buy in, that ASU team can really play. I mean, they're not Arizona top of the Pac-12, but the way they're going, they could be in the tournament.
And then the bad news is the Coyotes lost last. They lost again, Randy.
Well, it's the Coyotes, and
Flyers put on a 5 score second period. Just it was bad.
Yeah.
Coyotes are good for like 2 points a game, though, aren't they?
Yeah, two or three. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what their scoring average is. Let me try to look it up. But I was looking up at ASU. How about that? 13-1 in conference, or 3-1 in conference. Overall, they're 13-3. They're right up there, man. Fourth right now in the pack. So,
and the only team that's beaten them in conference is those bastards from south of the border. So,
yeah.
They're ranked number 4. So, yeah, Keon's right. Maybe it was a little bit premature for us to drop out of the 25.
If you play the number 4 ranked team in the country and they beat you, that should be the expected result. That doesn't mean you can't play basketball all of a sudden. No, I absolutely hated that.
Bliss Hayes has a good question. Who sweats more, Sean Miller or Bobby Hurley?
Sean Miller.
Sean Miller.
Absolutely Sean Miller. It's not even a contest.
Sean Miller wakes up in the morning sweaty. That's how he starts his entire day.
Yeah. Bobby Hurley wakes, he wakes up at an appropriate amount of sweaty. He goes to bed appropriate amount of sweaty.
Yeah.
Sean Miller, I do believe, could be the love child of the sweatiest man in all of basketball, who is also a coach now. Do you know who I'm thinking? Famous New York Knick, Patrick Ewing.
Whose team, by the way, is miserable. Georgetown.
Yeah. The record amount of losses. Astounding. How has he not been fired yet?
Because he's Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing, yeah. He's a Georgetown alum. He's
afraid of him?
It's not that they're afraid of him.
Legend.
It would hurt to have to fire Patrick Ewing.
They may need to.
They might have to, but it would hurt to have to say those words for everybody in that program.
Mr. Pringle says a 5'8" player with knee problems. Sun should take a good look at the Cardinals and see how that's working for him. Hefty Lefty says, since we're on the subject of men's college basketball being changed for the better, it's time they play 4 quarters instead of that stupid 2 halves thing. They are the only level of basketball that plays halves.
Yeah.
Women's college basketball is quarters, bro.
Yeah, I don't understand it myself. But it's one of those things that really does seem to be tradition. It's just, this is the way we've always done it. So that's the way we're going to continue to do it. Even though, it doesn't make any sense. You play quarters in high school. You play quarters, on the women's side in college. You play quarters in the NBA. Why on earth would you be 2 halves? I don't understand this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
WNBA, 4 quarters. Everyone plays 4 quarters except men's college basketball.
Well, it's time the men's college basketball gets with the program, since they're changing everything, including Major League Baseball. I don't want to hear any tradition going on here. They just need to take a sledgehammer and smash the traditions all across the board.
Especially that tradition. It's not, it doesn't help anything, and it doesn't hurt anybody to just say, if the game is the same length of time, but just divided into 4 instead of 2, it doesn't hurt anybody.
Kiss the Cook says he's worried that he has sullied his good name by accidentally texting in the last hour, smelly bag of asses. It was intended for somebody else. He says, since I've now cast a dark shadow and soiled my radio reputation
in more than one way,
for today, I will be referred to as Dirty Grayson, although my safe word is still kumquat. That is all. Far worse people have said far worse things in this text line.
And on purpose.
You're fine. Mr. Wilbur says, Randy, do you have any of those funny gummies behind the bar? If so, could you hand me one over there? A couple, maybe 10 milligrams. Whoa.
Don't have those.
Sorry. The hell kind of a place you think we're working here, Mr. Wilbur? This ain't Tucson. Beer Bob says, if more than one team claims the player during that 2-day window, the team with the lowest win percentage has first priority. Claiming team assumes the player's contract when they claim them. Yeah, we're not going to get them. All right, that's fine. Hook'em Hottie says, take Kemba Walker. He was the Mavs' 3rd string. Yeah, he's a 4-time All-Star, but he's no longer that player. Berg says, hey, has anyone else been in the Premier League every year, or is it just me? Keep fighting for it. Yeah, you keep fighting in other leagues, bro. Keep fighting. Also, 2-week finals are brutal. I think Berg is the longest lasting member of the 4th dimension in the Premier League. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. Berg is, it's just that he's the Buffalo Bills, I think, of the Premier League.
Oh, is it the elusive championship he never quite?
Yes, of the 90s. He's the Jim Kelly of the league.
Oh, don't call him that.
Why?
Oh boy.
Why? What's wrong with
Well,
that?
because he's a Patriots fan.
Patriots fan.
He's not the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, he's the old timey Patriots.
Do you think
Before
I've
they
ruined
were
our
winning.
friendship?
Yeah, maybe that may have just dented it right now. You know your fictitious walk-off win on the brain tumor walk.
It's not a fictitious. It's
I
not
think
fictitious.
I think he just shifted over to my side. That
No, he didn't.
it was not a contest.
He would never go against the truth.
Mhm.
Pickle D says all standard ESPN fantasy leagues are 2 weeks for semifinals and championship.
No,
Well,
that's ESPN.
Yeah, and also they can't spell. Mr. Wilbur says, "Come on, guys. Gummies help with the blindness. Someday I'm going to be cured. Nice try, meth head. You ain't getting nothing from us that ain't alcohol." Jeez. All right, so let's talk a little baseball real fast. Diamondbacks have went ahead and brought back Zach Davies.
How about
$5
that?
million 1 year. What
Yeah.
do you say about that, Randy?
Another value move. He's an innings eater. The guy's not going to be any sort of a game stopper. Look for him to come in, especially the dog days of summer. And when your starter and maybe your starter and your long reliever get into trouble, Zach Davies will be the guy to come in and do the mop up work. I think he's good for maybe a spot start here and there. But this is like everything else they've done, including Longoria, bringing in Longoria. It's a value move. We bring in another old player, Longoria, 37 years old, and we're bringing him in. I can't say anymore. I'm sorry.
Does anyone object to me calling him Longoria?
He might.
He might. He's a good guy. I mean,
He's a good
Good
guy.
guy. Well, he probably
He
wouldn't
just-
mind that.
he just
No, I
doesn't
probably wouldn't like
he's just
that.
not good anymore.
All right, fine. If he's a good guy, I won't say that. I used to say that about that woman. Anyway, I can't remember her name.
Very similar name.
Yeah,
Zach
Ava.
Davies, with $5 million 1 year deal. God bless you, and may you forever hold your peace.
The thing about the Diamondbacks, you have a decent starting rotation. You've got a not, I wouldn't say stout, I would say decent starting rotation. We are not willing to spend the money it takes to build this team into a contending team, and we continue to go out and make value moves. The kid they brought in from the Mariners, yeah, okay, he's had some success in Seattle, but it's a value move. This kid is often injured. I'm sorry.
Are you trying to tell me that we got this team at Dollar General?
Yeah, pretty much.
At best, Family Dollar.
And we went to Macy's for a couple of things, and then we went back to Dollar General.
Thanks for nothing, Kendricks. Thanks for nothing. 888-368-1580. But on the other end of the country,
yes,
how we didn't get a chance to talk about this much. Rafi Devers, for the Red Sox, 11 years, $331 million. For some reason, it had been reported it was going to be a 1 year deal, and all of a sudden, there it is, the biggest contract the Red Sox have ever given out. I mean, before him, it was David Price, a 7 year, $217 million deal back in 2015. So, wow. What do you say about that, Randy?
Well, I think it's a good attempt, but you're not going to catch the Yankees. The Yankees have loaded up. And by the way, I think Toronto is going to be the team to watch in the East this year. I mean, the Yankees are pretty decent, and they won the East last year, but the Red Sox still. They got a long way. They lost Xander Bogaerts. They let Mookie Betts walk away to the Dodgers. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to open up the checkbook and keep Rafael Devers there? I mean, good for you. You lock this guy up, but what else do you have?
Yeah, they had a big three with the two guys you mentioned before and Devers, and they just let two of those guys leave.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense to pay that. I mean, let him go too and build build a team up again. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. Boston used to be a legitimate team, and now they just they need pitching help. They need some bats. They JD Martinez is older now. He's not going to be effective anymore. Probably the Diamondbacks will sign him next season. But bottom line is Boston. I mean, good for them, but what else do you have? I mean, really.
But Berg says he's okay with being sort of compared to the Bills because he understands the history of it.
Okay.
And so he says, yeah, he's been second place a few times, third place a few times. He says, man, first place is coming. But, he does get the historical reference about the Bills.
All right.
So there.
I was just looking out for him.
888-368-1580. Somebody should have been looking out for the Brewers. I guess somebody broke into their clubhouse after a game and stole some stuff. But they caught him, or at least they are accusing him of it. A man, he was easy to catch because he was passed out in the bushes outside of the stadium. And he actually got into the clubhouse, stole some electronics, a credit card, some team memorabilia, other things, and so now he's up on charges, felony burglary, etc. So. Man, security is piss poor in that place, isn't it?
Well, it is the Brewers. So
not much of value could have been in that locker room.
Yeah. They were pretty decent last year.
Just give us this, Keon. Just give us this. Choro says Berg is like the mustard of the Premier League.
Oh, damn. Now that's hitting
now that's too far.
That's
Them's
going
fight
too
words.
far. Wow.
Berg says it's pronounced Devers, Randy. Devers. JD Martinez already signed with the Dodgers.
Oh, did he?
It's not Devers? It's Devers?
Thought it was Devers.
Well, he's not ours, so who gives
Rafael
the
Devers.
crap? Hefty Lefty says, is Boston now Anaheim of the East? That you're trying to say like that one or two good players?
Right now, yes, I would say that.
I mean, in that their payroll is gigantic, but they don't win anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if Boston could go out and somehow land Shohei Ohtani and start building from that, then now you got something going.
Yes, Jagdog also wants you to know JD Martinez signed with the Dodgers. The friggin' Dodgers, not a Red Sox. Boomer Sooner says, Randy, can I get a cold beer? Maybe a little Boomer Sooner to start the new year.
Well, I was playing the D-back song for you. Hang on. Here's your cold beer. Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner.
Obviously, Randy has had a few himself. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some gambling. That's right. There's some more big bets that just got placed. We'll talk about that and some other things. We come back. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply. Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
There's no doubt that Harmon Solar can save you up to 85% on your monthly electric bill. That's a fact. Bruce Jacobs here. But did you know it's possible to get solar for zero down and no payments for 12 months? You can lease, finance, or even purchase outright. They have plans that fit everybody. Harmon Solar is a family-owned, women-owned local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar at 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmonsolar.com.
Hey guys, it's Stephen McCollum from the main event here on 1580 The Fanatic. NFL Week 18 has a ton of playoff implications. We'll get you updated on the playoff matchups on Monday. Which teams will be looking for new head coaches? We'll have clarity as Black Monday unfolds. Suns, Coyotes, and the championship preview as Georgia and TCU face off Monday night. So join me, Stephen McCollum, on the main event Monday through Friday, noon to 2 p.m. here on 1580, 99.3 FM, The Fanatic.
Don't be fooled by the people you meet on social media. It may start as an innocent conversation, but anyone who tries to sell you pills is nothing more than a drug dealer. And if you think tiny pills can't do much harm, think again. Fentanyl can end it all. Know the truth about fentanyl at learnmoreaz.org. Don't be fooled. Don't be faked out. Visit learnmoreaz.org. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Remember last year when you wanted to hear that NFL matchup, but you couldn't because you were at your nephew's birthday party and the Fanatic couldn't stream the NFL on their app? Didn't that suck? Well, those days are over, pal. Now you can listen live to every primetime NFL game on the Fanatic app. Download the app now at the Google Play Store or the App Store, or at 1580thefanatic.com.
I listen to this when I'm placing a bet. You guys know that, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, this is my bet tune right here.
Damn.
I just feel like it, gives me the rhythm, helps me get into rhythm of betting. I love this. I love this jam when I'm betting. But one of the other things I love about betting is the FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook, you can combine prop bets with other bets from the same game and score an even bigger payout. This weekend, loaded full of games that you might be able to get some value out of. It is week 18. Some teams might win when they normally wouldn't win, so you could take long shot odds there. Some teams might have different quarterbacks in, so they might go under the point total. Some teams might be running their offense a different way to get through this final week of games unscathed. So they might go under rushing yards. I mean, these are things you have to look out for, and FanDuel makes it easy for you to build your own same-game parlay. And by the way, if you don't want to build your own same-game parlay, it's easy as well just to look and see what's on the books, because FanDuel's got same-game parlays pre-built and available to you. It's easy to sign up. You go to the FanDuel, you download the app, you sign up. It takes about 90 seconds to do it. I did it on the air one day earlier this year. It's easy to deposit your money, easy to find the bets that you like. There is a number of options for you to bet. They've got everything from the NFL, NBA, which is current and going, the NHL. You can do same game parlays plus, where you cross over different sports teams. Like you can make a bet on an NFL game, an NHL hockey game, and an NBA game, and build a same game parlay plus. A whole bunch of different ways for you to make money. Just log in and download the FanDuel Sportsbook. Sign up today with my promo code Randy1580, and you're going to get an extra bonus. You're going to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000. Again, that's promo code Randy1580 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and older, present in Arizona. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEP, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. Jeffco.
Thank you, Randy. And hey, do you hear about Mattress Mac? He is back at it again.
Oh, boy.
He has bet $1.5 million on underdog TCU to upset Georgia in the college football playoff title.
How about that?
And according to sources, he got that at plus 370 on the. Wow. He would win $5.55 million if they pull off that upset.
Wow.
$1.5 million down to get $5.5 million. Keon, knowing what you know about your college football, I imagine you should be college football dancing right about now. We should probably be discussing what's going to happen with TCU in Georgia. Do you think he's made a good bet?
Well, the game is on Monday night, so we don't necessarily have to make the pick right now. But
I thought you wanted to make a pick right now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and make the pick. I mean, look, I have nothing but good things to say about TCU. Nothing but great things to say about the Horned Frogs, Max Duggan, Sonny Dykes, that entire team. They run the crap out of the football. It's awesome to watch. They play smash mouth defense too. But it's Georgia, damn it.
By 12.5 points,
it's Georgia. Now, I don't think Georgia's winning that game by 2 scores, by 2 touchdowns, because TCU's just tougher than they get a whole lot of credit for.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you don't take Georgia. They've got the best tight end room in the country. They can run the ball. Their defense has been suspect as of late, but it's been suspect against some of the best offenses in the sport. So how much can you hold that against them? And when it comes down to it, they've been here before. They know how to handle the pressure. They know how to handle, this week leading up to the game. Kirby Smart's going to have those guys settled down and ready to go. They've got shutdown corners like Keely Ringo. I just think that they're so much more talented. They're going to win. But I do think it's going to be a closer game than people imagine. I definitely don't think it's a 12-point game. That is insane to me that line is still anywhere near that.
So it will at least be a good game.
I think so, yeah. I mean, TCU all year long, they have been able to win games. The games they're supposed to win convincingly, they do. And except for that one misstep in the Big 12 championship, they haven't done anything to lead people to think that they can't find ways to score. And I cannot stress enough how much Sonny Dykes, their head coach, is an offensive wizard. The guy just gets the game on a different level than a lot of these coaches. Now, Kirby is that on the defensive side of the ball, but I think that makes it even more of a great matchup.
Against the Spread says, I would not recommend betting this weekend on the NFL. Focus on the title game on Monday. I got a pick for the game if you want it today or Monday. Well, if we just force Keon against his will to go ahead and talk about the TCU Georgia game, well, then I'm going to do the same to you. So, yes, against the Spread, we want to hear your pick right here, right now. Keon has picked Georgia to win. Did you say by how much? What do you say? What do you say by how much? You want to give do you even do that? I don't even know if you do that.
I don't normally do that, but I think they'll win by a touchdown.
All right. So Keon's got him by 7 against the Spread. Looking forward to hearing what you got to say about that. Big George says, wow, Keon came back from a long vacation cranky. Don't question authority, Keon. If Jeffrey wants to talk about national championship game day, you better talk about the game.
Well, I didn't I? I'm not cranky. I was just wondering if it would be better placed Monday, but here we go. We made the pick. That's all.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear you say anything. I was just trying to get you to do what I want.
Yeah.
Choro says Keon is on the Dogs. Guess I'll bet on TCU.
Okay.
Wow.
That was kind of rude.
Why do you want to fade Keon?
Do what you want. I mean, you can fade me on NFL picks. You would be well within your rights and logic to do that.
Should.
But I do all right in the college. Like I don't really bet a ton of NFL. I bet college. I feel good about betting college. So fade me at your own ideas.
You got Georgia in 7. I kind of feel like TCU, they're a team of destiny this year, and it's so hard to back-to-back championship wins, and I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think TCU wins by maybe a field goal.
I'm going to pick Georgia by 3 touchdowns. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea what's going to happen. I got zero idea what's going to happen. Boogie says, I'm taking TCU with a last-second field goal.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. So, Boogie, I'll take TCU. I'll take Georgia by 3. You take TCU by 3, and we'll both lose money. Big George says, by the way, when are you guys going to finish your college football bowl predictions? I don't know. Did you tally up how many you got right? How many you got wrong, Keon? From the ones that were done? You guys did some when I wasn't around, I think. And then we did some when I was around. Did you keep track? You were supposed to keep track.
I did not keep track. I was
George
keeping track. And
you're going to have to go back and listen to those shows and come back and give us the tally because we just don't have the time or the energy to do that. How do you think you did? Oh, amazing.
I think I did okay. I think I did better last year, but there were some games I was watching and I did keep track in my head sort of who I picked. And some of those games did not go in even remotely the direction I thought they were going to go. But I think I got a good chunk of them right. Yeah.
Pro Dog says Keon's cranky because the Huskies beat his Longhorns.
No, I'm not cranky about that. I mean, congrats to your Huskies there if they are in fact your Huskies. But no,
that was part of my 5-leg parlay. I almost won.
But no, Texas didn't show up to play that game the way that they should have. It was still a pretty close game, and they didn't have Bijan Robinson. I'm okay with the result.
Hefty Lefty says LaDainian Tomlinson's going to suit up and secretly play for his alma mater on Monday night because of this, they'll cover the spread. They're 12.5 points.
Wow, really?
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty amazing prediction. You should put money on that.
LT Pickle is going to go suit up. Okay, all right.
I've watched that. Pickle D says Dogs 38-20. TCU won't be able to run. They'll get a couple of big plays and then keep it close early. Dogs pull away starting late third quarter.
The thing is, I don't know how that's going to happen. I mean, you say they won't be able to run. What makes you say that? And I know that Georgia's defense is incredible, especially that front. But no one has stopped them from running. That just hasn't happened.
You just don't know how the things work in the world, do you, Keon? You're so young. I can almost hear the youth just oozing from your voice. They won't be able to run because what the couple of little kids are going to do is going to crawl underneath the bench there. They're going to tie their shoelaces together. There's no way you can run when that happens.
I see. Look, that's a trick I haven't seen used in college football in quite some time. I just didn't.
You haven't watched enough Little Rascals, and that is why. Well, that is why you're not quite where you want to be in life, I think.
Little Rascals or Three Stooges. Either way, that works on both of those.
Pickle D says, "Who, Keon? Who has run on us?" He says,
and I answer that with, "Who has stopped them from running?" This is why it's going to be a great game. You're telling me no one has run on Georgia, and that's true. But TCU, even in the games that they lost, nobody has stopped them from running the football when they wanted to run the football. And part of it starts with Max. He's such a wizard in that option role. He's able to make the right plays. He pitches it when he's supposed to. He keeps it when he's supposed to. He makes the right read in the option, and that makes it really hard to stop the TCU run game.
It's because he's Irish.
Big George is like, no, it's funny because you guys never finished going through your predictions. You guys stopped before with the bowl games around Christmas, and then you never finished the rest of your predictions.
I think we did.
George, this has never been a professionally produced show, and you should know better than that.
We picked all the way up. We picked all the way up to the championship game and stopped. We did choose some games.
We got bored.
We didn't pick every single bowl game. We just picked the ones that we thought were good.
Yeah. The problem was there's way too many bowl games, and we bit off more than we could chew, and then we took a nap. That was it. We just I don't even know.
George has really stressed me out. I think I need a vacation.
Should we take another week off?
Yeah,
put it back to gambling.
Yeah, I think
I'm sure against the spreads. Like, no, I'm good with that. But if it's not us, it's gambling stuff. So Pickle D says, of course they haven't stopped them. They play in the Big 12. They don't stop anyone from doing anything in the Big 12.
And that's where I think you're wrong. The Big 12 5 years ago, 100% agree. The Big 12 the last couple of years, I'm not saying it's been SEC defenses. Okay, don't take my words and twist it into that. It's not the SEC all of a sudden in the Big 12.
Yeah, don't take his words and twist it. That's my job.
But they play defense in the Big 12. Yes, they do. Also, they play out of conference games too, just so you know. And nobody stopped them from doing that too. Also, Michigan, is that a Big 12 team? People didn't just run on Michigan all year until TCU did it and upset them and got to the final. So let's not go ahead and just say, well, they play in the Big 12 and write that off. It's not that simple.
Here's a guy we haven't heard from in a while. Faded Hero Icon is on the text line.
Hey, wow.
All right.
Wait a minute.
Says, good afternoon, fellas. Hope everyone had a good and safe New Year's. Randy, may I please get an ice cold 805? You keep doing your thing, guys. Keep doing yours, Faded Hero Icon. But whatever you keep doing, try to come around more often. We miss seeing you. Berg says, Anaheim with the East, but with 4 titles since 04. But okay. Mr. Wilbur says, dang, what a bunch of killjoys. We're not giving you meth, Wilbur. That's final. Jesus Christ. All right, Randy, can you get me some chocolate milk with a couple of those teeny little marshmallows in them? Don't you pour that. Don't you pour that.
No, I won't.
We serve whiskey and we serve beer. We don't serve meth. We don't serve pills. Haven't you heard the commercials here on the station? Well, you're not supposed to trust us if we sold you pills anyways. You ain't getting nothing from us but whiskey or beer as God intended it. So you just sit there, enjoy your drink, or get the hell out. Sometimes you got to be tough with the regulars.
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That was inspiring.
Put your foot down right there.
Wilbur, if you don't get help somewhere,
get help.
Go to Charter. Remember that commercial?
Yeah.
Anyway, Heavy Metal Maniac says, can the Fourth Dimension start a GoFundMe page to get rid of the Diamondbacks owner? Then maybe we could put a real team out on the field. Jeffrey and Randy can be co-owners. It's a long shot idea. What do you think, huh?
Mm.
I'd like that.
Yeah, I'd love that. Love
Yeah, I mean, Randy, I think would make a great skipper. I think he could, throw out the sabermetrics and run a team like it should be, like a baseball team.
I think there's a place for sabermetrics. It's just not in every single inch of the game.
Mm-hmm. And
Totally agree.
What would I do? Would I just? I didn't
What
know
would
I
you do? You could be the
I'd be
GM.
co-owner. I could.
You could be the GM or just that
Oh.
Playboy owner.
I'll be the
that flies
Playboy owner.
around and
My wife probably wouldn't appreciate calling me the Playboy owner.
well,
So
just you'd be in Hollywood, Walk of Fame, that sort of thing.
why would I be there?
You'd be the
nobody.
face of the franchise. You kidding me?
How about we just make my wife the face of the franchise? She's a hot model actress looking kind of lady. Should be the face of the. I'll do the broadcast. Keon and I will do
You
the
gonna call the game?
broadcast.
Okay, all right. All right.
Randy, you can
Anything
the
other
team
than
down
Steve
there.
Berthume, please. Please.
We'll ban him from the entire stadium, and then my wife can walk around and be the face of the franchise.
I think your wife could be a good GM of the team.
I don't think she knows anything about baseball, although
exactly
she does
why it would be a good. She would be a good GM.
better than what we have.
Yeah.
I think she enjoys how the players look in their uniforms, but outside of that, I don't think she knows anything about baseball. I could be wrong. Harry Soap says T-minus 2.5 days until Kingsbury's Black Monday Blender edition.
Boy, I hope. Man, I hope.
You think it'd happen that fast?
Oh, I hope.
I don't know, but I mean, the Monday would be the day it would happen if it was going to happen.
I
That's why
see
they
it
call it Black
happening like
Monday.
this. 3, 2, 1, and the game's over. There's the gun, and you see Kingsbury fall over because the gun went off, and what it was actually somebody else shot him, and so the game is over and he's out.
Yeah, Randy, that's not how they get rid of coaches. They would just
Not?
fire him. Yeah,
Really?
they would fire at
all-
him.
They would fire at him.
I mean, if you just
No.
wanted,
No?
Cliff to just keel over, just get Michael
No, I
Bidwell
don't
to
want
give
that.
him one of those stares that he gave him in
I don't want
the Hard Knocks again.
Not even a paintball.
Because
Oh, you watched that? You watched that?
yeah, I mean, I've been
And
watching.
Bidwell
it.
gave
I'm-
him a death stare?
It was a couple episodes ago. I'm behind, but what the one I watched, I mean, it was a withering. He was in the locker room. It looked like an episode of The Office. It was like in the locker room, and he's talking to the team, and then the camera just zooms in on Michael Bidwell standing kind of behind him off to the side. And if looks could kill, he would literally be dead right now. I mean, Michael Bidwell was staring a hole
What was he-
through this man.
What was he talking about?
It almost didn't matter. He was trying to fire
sure
up
they
the
lost
team.
the
They
game.
lost, and he was trying to, get everybody to.
Well,
to-
guys, that's okay. We'll get them next time.
Yeah,
It
Michael
just-
Bidwell standing there imagining, wonder what he'd look like as Sean Payton.
All I know is that if I ever have an employer look at me that way, I'd be very terrified.
Jeffrey looks at you like that a lot.
Oh no!
I didn't tell you.
That's why Keon never looks at the screen. It's probably smart. Hefty Lefty wants to know if we get the Diamondbacks, can he be the new mascot? Well, first we have to understand what kind of mascot would you be. So I feel like saying yes, but I also feel like we should probably have an idea of what you got in
wanna
mind.
just take
I'm changing
Cuddy
the
off our
mascot,
hands?
by the way. If I'm the owner of this team, the first thing that goes is that stupid flea-infested cat.
Yeah, so Hefty Lefty, you'll need some better ideas for that.
I'm going to send that thing down to U of A where it belongs. Just go
Boogie
down
says
to
he
Tucson
wants to be
and
the
stay.
GM. No.
Who? Boogie?
Boogie. Yeah.
No, Boogie's
Randy
going
and I'll
to
work.
he'd be the president of baseball operations.
No, he wouldn't. No, he'll be the president of concessions. That's it. And
Well,
no, wait,
president-
that's
no.
no, that's
No,
Heavy
we-
Metal Maniacs.
Well,
So-
either
That's
Heavy
true.
Metal
That's a good
Maniac
point.
or Kiss to Cook.
Now, how
Because
about
I want to
Boogie?
change the whole menu up.
Boogie gets to be the ticket guy. He can be the ticket guy. And I mean, you and I can GM this team just fine. You tell me what you need, and I can wheel and deal and work
Well,
it out.
no, president of baseball operations, all Boogie would have to do is sit in his office and drink whiskey and have people come in and give him money to be sponsors of the team.
So he would have nothing to do with the operation of
No,
the
he
actual
would
team.
smoke cigars, drink whiskey, and
All right, Boogie,
and-
that's your job.
yeah,
All
president
right,
of baseball
Boogie, you're in.
operations.
You're
Yeah.
in, Boogie. You're in. Hefty Lefty says the new mascot would be chubby and lovable. What other kind of mascot would he be? Yeah, I know, but like, it's the Diamondbacks, so
I mean,
snake.
yeah. How do you get a chubby, lovable snake?
That means it's just eating some kid or something.
No,
I don't know. That's
no.
pretty dark.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we have more betting stuff to talk about and other things to talk about, and then some NFL. That's what we do. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
The new year is here. Time for a change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand IT field with My Computer Career. In just months, already in IT, build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus, and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
Homeowners age 62 and older, now is time to act. This is Rob Kane, your retirement mortgage specialist and host of the Retire Right with Reverse Rob show on 1510 KFNN. Yes, listing prices are down, but home values still remain at very high levels. Don't wait to learn more about the new and improved home equity conversion mortgage. This is a safe and proven coordinated strategy in retirement, which will improve your monthly cash flow, lower your tax liabilities, and make your retirement portfolio last longer. Call me today, Reverse Rob at 602-REVERSE, or on the web at www.reverserob.com.
Arizona offers thousands of helpful resources for service members, veterans, and their families. But navigating the system can be confusing and overwhelming. Call 866-4AZ-VETS to talk directly to caring people professionally trained to help you. Get connected to resources and benefits at no cost. Just call 866-4AZ-VETS now. This message is brought to you by the Arizona Coalition for Military Families, the Arizona Department of Veteran Services, and Arizona's Be Connected partners.
Hi, I'm Mo Ansari, president of Compact Asset Management. If the volatility of these markets is making you seasick, you're not alone. Many investors are afraid to make a move, but not taking action can be just as detrimental as taking the wrong action. All of us here at Compact are focused on growing and protecting your assets. That means watching market activity all day, every day to try and find the great money-making opportunities during the good times and keep your money out of harm's way during the bad times. We have the products, resources, and experience to help you stay ahead of the game. So if you're wondering what your next step should be, let's chat. 1-800-388-9700. I will sit down with you to discuss your options and to help you get past the fear so you can make better financial decisions. Call me at 1-800-388-9700 and let's work together to build your financial future. That's 1-800-388-9700.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
Homeowners age 62 and older, now is time to act. This is Rob Kane, your retirement mortgage specialist and host of the Retire Right with Reverse Rob show on 1510 KFNN. Yes, listing prices are down, but home values still remain at very high levels. Don't wait to learn more about the new and improved home equity conversion mortgage. This is a safe and proven coordinated strategy in retirement, which will improve your monthly cash flow, lower your tax liabilities, and make your retirement portfolio last longer. Call me today, Reverse Rob at 602-REVERSE, or on the web at www.reverserob.com.
So, what's your favorite thing about sports? The excitement, the action, or the 5-meat pizza and the six-pack?
Bingo.
That's what we thought. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Today's Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. The historian says, hey, everybody, remember, Guinness is both a meal and a drink. You are correct. So I guess we're serving meals, Randy. We're serving meals by way of it being Guinness.
I see.
And whiskey is dessert, if you ask me.
Okay.
Boy, I can't thank you enough for that 10-cup whiskey you gave me for Christmas. That's some good stuff. Holy moly, that's some good stuff.
Well, I had nothing but the best for my pal.
Yeah. I gave that to you a few Christmases ago, but I never got to have any because I walked out of your office. By the time I came back with a glass, it was gone.
Well,
and
so
thank you for letting me know how good it was. I just thought it was cool when I found it with that little tin cup and the story of it, being from the Rockies. I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah. And I always wondered.
Oh, is it from the Rockies? I didn't even have time to read the label.
I think Randy was just picking up whiskey. He got me a Longhorn whiskey, which I enjoy a lot, actually.
Yeah. Are you going to actually drink it, or are you going to keep it as a display?
No, I've been drinking it.
Good for you. So here's what you can do just to impress people. After you drink the whiskey, you can fill that thing with apple juice. And then just to make a point every now and then, just start chugging it straight from the bottle to where they'd be like, oh, my God, he's got a problem. you know, I do a little something fun. Big George says, Randy, I give you and Jeffrey permission to take next week off. Keon, because you've been tardy all week, you got to stay and do a show with Ralph and that funny looking guy from Money Radio.
Wait, I've been tardy?
Wait, who's the funny looking guy from Money Radio?
That also brings me to that other point. Yeah.
Is he calling James funny looking or Asher?
Or Mark Asher? Three number of people. I ain't saying you're wrong. We just would need you to help identify which one. Random texter says, of the coaches that'll fall victim to Black Monday, who do you think will get a new coaching job first on another team? Somebody's going to get fired and immediately picked up someplace else?
Cliff Kingsbury, because he's a possum.
Nobody's hiring him again. 0% of people are going to hire him again. He now, 4 years in a row, had a dismal collapse at the end of the season. There's nobody going to hire him. Nobody in college, nobody in the NFL.
He had a dismal collapse at the end of a season. He didn't even start well.
Yeah.
It's even worse.
So, yeah, boy, if we're supposed to predict this now, I mean, I'm just saying, let's just see what happens, because you never know what an owner is going to do or a GM is going to do or who's going to get grace and who's going to be a surprise firing. You just don't know.
I think this is going to be one of those Black Mondays where I honestly don't know that a lot of guys are getting fired.
I can't predict Cliff is out.
No, you can't. Because what we know about Michael Bidwell, he's a loyal guy, if nothing else. And
Nice
I just
guy.
don't think that, when a guy's under contract, he's the type of person, unless something is horrifically wrong, to terminate the contract. Now, we might look at the team and go that, well, it looks horrifically wrong already. But from his point of view, this is somebody he has to talk to every day. He knows Cliff Kingsbury personally. To walk into that room and say, I'm giving you the axe is going to be a tough conversation. I don't know if you're a loyal guy like that, that's a conversation you want to have.
If your way you're describing what happened on the Hard Knocks, maybe it won't be so hard. Navy Devil says, if Kingsbury gets fired, will his walking papers get served to him via a screen pass? Oh, Navy Devil, that was funny. A-Wings 22 says, remember ASU fired Herm walking off the field after a game. USC fired Lane Kiffin on an airport tarmac. So, Michael Bidwell's a classy guy. He'll take care of business probably in his office Monday or Tuesday if it is going to happen. So, Against the Spread says his pick. Are you ready for this? He says, my pick for Monday, TCU to win on the money line. What? Oh. I will explain. TCU's quarterback is way better than Georgia's quarterback. TCU has a +10 turnover margin compared to Georgia. Georgia allows big plays on defense. They are 9th in the SEC in pass plays over 10 yards. TCU can run the ball. They ran for over 250 yards against Michigan, the Big Ten's best defense and 3rd overall defense in the nation. TCU also has good red zone defense and can force turnovers. Georgia allows big punt returns, and TCU has excellent special teams. Georgia's best tight end, Hurt. This game has all the right ingredients for an upset, guys.
That's a good breakdown.
I'm picking TCU now.
That's a damn good breakdown. I do think that Georgia, when they dial in, it's weird because I saw this happen in the Tennessee game. Georgia was just kind of screwing around all season, barely winning games that honestly they should have just stomped people out. Then when they had to get serious against the Tennessee team that was looking pretty good, the clamps went on, and Tennessee, who was moving the ball against defenses all year like a hot knife through butter, couldn't do anything against Georgia. I just think when they really want to, I don't know who can score on them when they want to stop you. And I think they're going to be highly motivated.
I'm going to put a bet on TCU as soon as I can. King of Kitten says, Rando, flea infested cat. Baxter Bobcat's an excellent representative for a Southwestern mascot.
You're right.
For some team called the Bobcats.
For somebody down in Tucson.
Yeah. King of Kittens. Mr. Wilbur says, you guys can hire me to be in charge of the concession stadium. I would hire a bunch of food trucks, have them basically act as the wall for home runs. There'd be a beer truck and a hot dog truck and a gummy truck. And you are not going to be in charge. Heavy metal maniac who he deserves to be bumped up to management for what he does. He knows his business. And you don't think you're going to slip in THC or TCL, whatever. What is it they put in the marijuana?
So TCBY.
Yeah, you're not going to be in charge of TCBY gummy bears getting kids high. You, my friend, since you're blind, you get to be an umpire. Navy Brad says, I disagree with the NFL Hall of Fame list. Jim Marshall needs to be in. Hey, Navy Brad, you texted that yesterday. Why are you texting that again today? We're not even talking about that, man. Oh, I get it. He's listening to the podcast. Every now and then, somebody's accidentally listens to the podcast and starts texting in. Oh, that just cracks me up when that happens. The Jet says, happy Friday, gentlemen. Just curious if you're working a full shift today or only 3 hours. What are you talking about? That is a full shift. What are you talking about? Yeah, listen, the morning show, they have to work 4 hours to earn the money. We only need to work 3 because we're just that good. Lost Toby says, I'll take some dessert. That would sound creepy if I just not called whiskey dessert. So hit him there, Randy.
There you go.
Pro Dogs thinks Wilkes is going to get fired. You know what? God, I would like to see him get another chance. I would like to see him get another season, but you're probably right. What do you think, Keon? You think he gets a chance? I mean, I feel like he should have a chance.
I think he should too, but I also know that the owner of that team, David Tepper, is the kind of guy, he swings big. I think he wants a big name hire. The reason why they hired Matt Rule, the dental schmuck, in the first place is because he was the biggest college football name that was thinking about going to the NFL at the time. And I think if David Tepper gets a chance to hire another coach, I think he's going to swing big again.
See, I thought Keon was going to say that David Pecker, what's his name?
David
Pecker?
Yeah, Pecker is a swinger.
Well, it makes sense with that name.
Yep.
6230 says, hey, whatever happened to Eno Benjamin?
He got caught.
I already got picked up. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where. Keon can look it up for you.
He
also
released.
Says,
yeah.
By the way, how do I set a name? I want my texter nickname to be Steve Cohen's Money.
I do not have the context on that particular reference
he's
there, but
yeah, he's owner of the Mets and since 2020 and hedge fund manager, and so
Steve Cohen's Money.
The last time he tried to be Eric's ghost, and we said no to that.
Who is this again?
No idea. 6230. As far as I know, a new texter. It could be somebody from the past that we might have blocked on the old line or something.
Eric's ghost.
Yeah.
Benjamin, by the way, a tale of 3 teams this season. Started a Cardinal, somewhere in the middle there, became a Texan, now a New Orleans Saint.
All right, so Steve Cohen's Money, I will let you be that, but you have to tell me who you are from the past, because there's no way you're not from our past.
I hope it's bad, Grandpa.
Don't break my heart. Let's see. Boogie says, I'm calling it now. Cliff Dingleberry will be coaching a college program in 2023. No, nobody's going to hire him. Keon, is anybody going to hire him for college? No. Would you see anybody, or maybe a community college, but nobody's hiring him to do anything. He failed in college. He has failed in the NFL. Nobody is hiring this guy.
This is how you get back into college football. Cliff Kingsbury is going to go to Alabama, be an analyst for a while, move up Nick Saban's staff, and then when you get your shot to be the coordinator or be the quarterback's coach, you do as good a job as you can possibly do. With the talent there, you're going to look good. And then you get hired by somebody else. He needs to be laundered because fresh off of what has happened, or if he's willing to go to a smaller school, a Florida Atlantic, like Lane Kiffin did, a school like that, and win there to then get hired by a Power 5 program. But he's not going to be in a Power 5 anything anytime soon either.
I got a question. So do you think he knows he's a fraud? No, I'm being serious right now. No, I'm being serious. Do you think he knows he's a fraud and he's not good at what he does. You think he's looked back at his 8 years of head coaching or however long it's been, because he was a coach in college, coach in the NFL. Do you think he knows he is not good at this?
I don't think so. Well,
that means he probably didn't save his money.
Why
Poor guy.
Why would you think that when every step of the way you keep failing up? I mean, why would you learn the lesson that you're not good at this if you've only ever been rewarded? Yeah, like there's plenty of excuses.
I think he's a
you
damn
can go find
possum.
along the way and say, okay, well, I never had a defense and I'm an offensive coach at Texas Tech, so maybe that's why. Or Steve Keim never gave me this, that, and the third. You can blame any number of people as long as you keep succeeding.
He's a possum.
The Jet says, well, why the hell did you work 2 hours yesterday? Because GCU game was on. That's why. That ain't our problem. You know what? We give 3 hours. No matter what, 3 hours is going to be given. If we are preempted, that is not our problem. And we get paid. So there. Choro says, did Robbie Anderson ever make it to the team? Yeah, he caught a touchdown. I think at least one touchdown in the last couple of weeks or something. I saw him out there.
He
at least a first down.
He won't be playing this weekend either.
Hour 3 is up next.
Makes a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews. And you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast. Bo Jackson talks about his greatest accomplishment.
July 21st, 1990. I took third strike on purpose right down the pipe, turned around, had a few choice words with the umpire. He proceeded to toss me out of the game, spent the rest of the day with my wife and my baby girl, who was born that morning at 6:30 a.m.
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
As a kid, we all loved hopping on our bikes and hitting the road.
I'll be back for dinner. See ya.
Well, bikes just got reinvented for us big kids. If you haven't tried an electric bike, you have no idea what you're missing. Hit the road, the trails, or the beach by pedaling or not pedaling.
It's like being a kid all over again.
Start with the best. Hemingway e-bikes are the best fat tire electric bikes sold. Since 2017, Hemingway is known for durability, price, safety, and fun. Hemingway is the long-range e-bike experts, taking you faster and farther on a single charge. Hemingway sells direct to the consumer, ships right to your home, and has over 2,000 5-star reviews. Choose from 7 models, all with an unprecedented 2-year warranty. Find out why over 50,000 customers call Hemingway the best e-bike there is. Go to HemingwayEbike.com. That's HIMIWAY ebike.com. Now save up to $250 with promo code FANATIC. Go to HemingwayEbike.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends over at the Lund Mortgage Team. For years, I've been telling you about refinancing, new home loans, all the great stuff that the Lund Mortgage Team can help you with from start to finish. Now, things have gotten a little crazy, right? The rates were bouncing all over the place. Now they're officially higher than they've been in a long time. And now more than ever, I think it's important to have a mortgage professional that has been there, done that. Any Yahoo can sell you a mortgage when it's 2.75%. Those people are going away. The real professionals are the ones that are staying in business and helping their clients through this kind of tough time out there as far as mortgage rates are concerned. Those people are the Lund Mortgage Team. Matt Oliver, Lisa Lund, they've owned this team for a long time, over 2 decades in the Valley. They are the best in the business, and they will walk you through the process, whether it's refinancing now or probably more importantly, a new home loan. Let them do all the heavy lifting for you. Call today, 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940. or online, lundmortgage.com.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM. And K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third
hour. All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what? Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 5 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pals, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. Got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And I have a man of the day for you here in a moment, and I think we'll all agree on that. But coming up here in about 20 minutes, Rosalie Michaels, your fantasy girl, she's going to be on, and we're going to sort out how we're going to take care of business with fantasy football championships sitting there waiting to be figured after that whole thing that happened last Monday. So stay tuned for that. Let's clean up the text line. There's a couple stragglers here that we got to get to. Boomer Sooner says, Jeffrey, has anyone ever wondered why hedge fund managers are worth billions of dollars? Because they hedge funds. There's funds and they hedge them. This is easy stuff, Boomer Sooner. I don't know.
Hedge.
Well, Randy, so look, there's funds, and they're hedged. So that should explain everything.
Will they hedge trimmer?
Sometimes with a hedge trimmer.
Okay,
it's actually it's a true thing. People don't know that. That's a real thing. So
okay, makes sense.
Be a child, Boomer Sooner. Mr. Wilbur says, I can see Cliff Kingsbury being the office of coordinator at Mississippi State. Not trying to be a jerk, but that would be an interesting landing spot for him. I don't think he's landing anywhere. Boogie says Dingleberry will not go to a position lower than a top program offensive coordinator or a head coach in college. He does not deserve either position you just mentioned, Boogie. Hefty Lefty says it'd be messed up, but I'd chuckle if Cliffy went to the Panthers. Why would you do that to the poor Panthers? Haven't they been through enough already? Mile High Guy says, Tin Cup is terrific Colorado whiskey. Strahan's makes great stuff too. I'll bring some to remote. Strahan, you mean like Michael Strahan? He makes whiskey? I had no idea. What would that taste like? Against the spread says Cliff Kingsbury is not even qualified to wash the Chrisman Tide's jock straps, let alone hold a clipboard for Saban. He might have a future getting pizza for the coaching staff or working for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. That pathetic mannequin looking fool needs a man purse and a pink slip. Arizona is a right-to-work state, not a right-to-suck state.
Listen, you might say that he's not good enough for the Crimson Tide, but they hired Butch Jones after everything he did at Tennessee, including not winning the SEC East and then saying, but it doesn't matter because our guys are the champions of life. He hired that bum. If Butch Jones is hireable by Nick Saban's staff, and by the way, Butch Jones did parlay that into a job, I think, at Central Michigan. So good for him, I guess. And Bill O'Brien, after he exploded with the Texans, is the offensive coordinator there now.
You're in the spin zone.
It's Nick Saban's school for lost and wayward coaches. You go there, you rehab your entire career, then you try and get a job. Steve Sarkisian, after his whole debacle at USC, he's the OC at Alabama. He goes to Texas and gets a job and a lot of money. So you might say that he's not good enough to work for Nick Saban. I don't think Nick seems to be all that picky.
Hefty Lefty says, not necessarily messing with the Panthers, but more so Steve Wilkes. Cliff would be like the herpes of coaches to Steve. Oh, I see, because he follows them I got him. Nurse Scratchit says Dingleberry shouldn't even be a water boy. Berg says he can go the Bill O'Brien route as well as the coach for Ole Miss.
You're in the spin zone.
Why do you keep yelling that?
I wondered what happened. He was on TV for so long. And
who?
Bill O'Brien.
I don't think that's Bob O'Brien, who was on Fox.
You're in the spin zone.
What was that guy's name? The guy who was on the
Bill
Inside
O'Reilly.
Edition. Yeah, that's right. You're not even close. Bill O'Reilly, Randy.
Well, there was an O in it.
He groped somebody, and now he's gone.
You're in the spin zone.
He's got a podcast somewhere.
Sure he does.
Somewhere.
Sure he does.
Oh, you're talking about old Chin Dimple. You're talking about him.
Okay. Yeah, he's weird.
O'Reilly?
Alive! That guy.
No.
Good.
Yeah, the tide goes in, tide goes out. How do you explain that guy?
Good Cat says, guys. Hello. Well, hello, Good Cat. Lost Toby has a question. He says, hey, remote at the Phoenix Open this year?
Guys.
Maybe. We don't know. We don't find out till the last minute. So maybe, probably.
You'll know when we find out.
Could be. Against the spread says, Keon, Could you please call Bill O'Brien Coach Chin Nuts?
Yeah, that's him. He was from the Texans, right?
Chin Dimple. I think we're calling him Chin Dimple.
Chin
against the
Dimple.
spread.
Yeah.
Lost Toby says, yeah, it was Bill O'Reilly, guys. Choro says, yeah, wrong Irishman, Randy.
Now you're in the spin zone.
I don't think that's what he yelled.
I think it was
he
the
yelled,
no
"You're
spin
in
zone."
the no spin zone.
And I don't
is that
think
what it was?
he yelled it. I
We're in
think it
the
was like
lots of spin zone.
Is that
Tons
why
of
I'm
spin.
always dizzy?
Yes. It's either that or the whiskey. Have another.
Okay.
CK says, it's Bill O'Reilly, you nincompoops.
All right.
Okay, we got there eventually.
We'll do it live. Thank you, King of Kittens. Are you guys ready for your man of the day?
Absolutely.
We haven't had a man of the day in a while, but I'll tell you what. Old Peyton Hillis. Remember him? Used to be on the Madden cover.
Yeah,
They
the
got voted
juggernaut.
on. Yeah.
He was Browns running back, right?
Yeah. So he's out there hanging out with the kids there. I think it was near the ocean or something. And it was in Florida. And I guess the kids got into some sort of trouble that hasn't been explained, or if it has, I haven't seen it yet. But all I know is he saved the life of his children, and in doing so, he about drowned himself.
Oh boy!
And he's now in intensive care. They say he's probably going to be okay, but he's got a road ahead of him as well. But I mean, that if you're going to saving your kids, damn right. Well done, man of the day, Peyton Hillis. I did that once. Wasn't probably as dramatic. I don't know the details. My grown son, we were when he was what was he? He was probably 7 or 8. And we were in San Diego. And we're just standing there. We had just waited out there, and he was first time has seen the ocean. He's like, this is great. He's like, oh my gosh, this is huge. Oh, it's cold in my toes. Oh, this is the best thing ever. We didn't realize how big the next wave was going to be.
Got him.
Oh no.
And it just boosh, put him underwater. And I ran over there, grabbed him, held him up over my head. And the next wave came. And I was underwater as I held him up over my head, trying to get back, trying to not fall down with him. And I was like about to drown myself. And that was the closest I came to saving somebody's life.
Wow.
And as the water came down and we both fell on the sand, he gave me the dirtiest look. Like, what did you do to me? Because he'd never been in the ocean. And I was like, yeah, go ahead, wade out there. I had no idea. He thought I did that to him on purpose. It does sound like me. I'll give you that. But I had no idea. So what I got for saving this kid's life was attitude.
Because he thought you were pranking him.
Mhm,
But yeah,
mhm.
no, you wouldn't endanger his life as a prank. But I guess he's a kid too.
I would now. I would now.
He's a former Marine.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Okay, yeah, he's grown and can take it.
But I can imagine how bad it can be in the ocean. But that's Florida. That's Pensacola, Florida. I can't. And that's like just like bathwater water. And I don't. Anytime I've been like in Miami in the water, A, it's nasty, and B, there's no waves. You can't surf in Miami. You know that, right? There's no waves. So I'm very curious how this went down.
He was in Pensacola, right?
Well, okay. So Pensacola ocean is different.
Well, no, I mean, I think the waves are a bit more active there, aren't they?
I know that the
maybe they
different
got
beaches
into
are a little different, but I couldn't tell you how.
Maybe they got into one of those riptides.
I remember that show
does happen.
with a goofy looking helicopter.
No, it wasn't a show. There's actual riptide.
No, there was a show called Riptide.
Well, okay.
It wasn't that good. They had a goofy looking helicopter. I don't know whose idea that was. And I'm over here trying to watch Airwolf, and here they come with this giant, weird looking helicopter. There's people who know what I'm talking about.
All right.
Berg says Jeffrey O'Brien, brain tumor walk winner and hero for saving his son. Yeah. Well, you're the only one who thinks that.
on both counts, apparently.
No, on one count, Keon. Shut your mouth. Good Cat says, Randy, is your room spinning clockwise? Mine spins counterclockwise. So maybe together we're sober.
Could be. We need to probably get together and see.
Boogie says Dingleberry should be a high school JV head coach in New Jersey, where he'll end up anyway there. Well, where he'll end up in what I think are two different things.
In New Jersey.
I don't know why New Jersey. Yeah. Hefty Lefty says there is a ton of butt thunder in Miami. You're not wrong.
Excuse me?
No. I don't know if that affects the waves or not.
Butt
but
thunder? What is
whatever the case, Peyton Hillis, man of the day. All right, let's move on. Oh, by the way, speaking of thunder, that next Friday, you know what next Friday is, Randy?
Friday the 13th.
There are 2 of them this year.
What?
Telling you, this year is up to no good. Look how this year started. We're in week 1 of the year, and so much has happened. Now we find out we got a September 13th next week. That's some bull crap right there.
Already.
Of course, nothing bad has really happened the last couple of days, right?
I'm not going to go. I'm not going to be in next Friday the 13th. I'll be in my bomb shelter.
I don't know what this text means. Hefty Lefty says 2 chances to get $13 tattoos. Oh, you mean on Friday the 13th, they'll actually sell tattoos for $13? I had no idea.
I didn't know that either.
Don't have any tattoos. I'm a sexy blank canvas.
I'll say that.
I have more canvas than I used to around the midsection.
Just more to love, Jessica.
Can I tell you? I saw something on TV, and this woman, she had the tattoos, right? And she had like a little, looked like a Mayan symbol around her belly button. You know what I'm saying? She had like a little
symbol, okay?
Yeah, like a little like shape kind of thing. I thought to myself, she gets big, good and fat. That is going to look like the nose cone of a 747 because I just that thing on her belly button is just going to be like right in your face if she's pregnant or or when she's older.
Could see that, yeah.
Kind of drooping down there. I don't think people think about the future when they get some of their tattoos.
No, I think you're right. At one point, I wanted to have a tattoo on my chest. Can you imagine what it would look like now?
You see people like they get a battleship on their arm, and then you see this old guy, and he's 85, and it looks like a paperclip.
Yeah,
it's all faded and just what is that? So I just yes, Hefty Lefty, it was a belly button target. I guess I don't know what you're trying to say with that, but it seems like that could be. Lost Toby says, yeah, most tattoo shops will do $13 tattoo on Friday the 13th. That doesn't sound very economical. So if I were a tattoo shop, I would close on Friday the 13th, so I didn't have to give such cheap tattoos.
The thing is, people who get tattoos, it's kind of like a gateway drug, sort of like they get a tattoo, and a lot of people really like it. Get another one later. So the $13 one gets them in the door, and then once they get the tattoo and think it looks really cool on them, they go get more.
I see. So that's how that works. Yeah. CK says nothing like looking at a $13 tramp stamp, or nothing like looking at a $13 tramp stamp. Hefty Lefty, thank you. Big George says, as someone who has seen the photographic proof, I can attest to the fact that Jeffrey won the brain cancer walk. He rolled over the competition. He dominated that race. It wasn't even close. We don't need to bring this up again. It just aggravates Randy. And I'm always going to be proved right on that one. So it's best to let it go. Nurse Scratchit says, even New Jersey does not deserve Cliff Kingsbury, in a good way. Don't do that to New Jersey.
I'm just trying to figure out why New Jersey. Why did that come up as the spot he's going to land?
Rutgers? I don't know.
Rutgers.
Good Cat thinks Cliff Dingleberry will be the next Lions offensive coordinator.
I think they're doing all right without him.
Oh, so Lost Toby's also saying the $13 tattoos. It's not like the big stuff. There's like a small one. You get like a little small thing.
Oh, like a skull or something?
Or a dot. There you go.
Pirate flag.
Where's the rest of the tattoo? $13. You get this.
Can I get the whole one for $26?
See, I think all three of us should go get pirate flags.
I'll meet you there. Hefty Lefty says, yeah, they're very small tattoos from a designated page, usually 1 inch by 1 inch square size. Plus, you got to tip the guy like $30 anyway. So Heavy Metal Maniac says, hey, I got a better idea when I win the lottery this week. I'll buy the team. I'll make Jeffrey and Randy announcers the games. Keon can be in charge of personnel. All fans get a 1 free beer per game, and we'll lower prices on the food and beer. Well, we want to do more than just announce the game. Randy wants to be the skipper. Why wouldn't you want him to be the skipper? Not, I mean,
seems
listen, we'll take
unfair.
the job.
Yeah, don't take the job away from us.
Just
Yeah,
asking
but-
some questions.
Just
Yeah,
asking.
yeah, just questions. Yeah. Berg says, I think that they want him Cliff Kingsbury in the New Jersey stereotypical Sopranos kind of thing. Lost Toby, thank you for that. Hookamati says, didn't hear while you're talking about Friday the 13th, but I was born on Friday the 13th, and I think that explains a lot. I don't know about your luck, Hookamati. But now we're all a bit nervous about you. My sister's she was born on the 13th as well.
Huh.
She's had a very lucky life. She lives in a mansion in North Carolina.
Was it a Friday the 13th?
You know, I don't know. I have to ask my mom if she was legit on a Friday the 13th. It's a good question. Heavy Metal Maniac says, okay, fine. I'll let you guys pick your jobs and your job titles. And our income.
Because that's the part I care about, you know.
We appreciate that, Heavy Metal Maniac. So good luck to you on the lottery there. Hey, real fast before we go to break. After the break, we're going to talk to Rosalie Michaels about the fantasy football stuff right now. But I figured since we were, we were talking a little bit about, college stuff. Keon, Jim Harbaugh under investigation.
Yeah, probably not the phone call he was expecting.
Just like Herm Edwards with ASU. Now they're under investigation. But I will say this, it seems like the stuff he's under investigation for, not as serious, not that big a deal, but it becomes a level 1 violation where if they think that Harbaugh wasn't complying or maybe misleading the investigators when they came around asking questions. And because I saw a list of all the stuff, like, one guy with, I guess I shouldn't have bought dinner for you guys. Oops, sorry. That, the people making dumb mistakes, they get reprimanded. And it was like, it's plausible stuff. It wasn't anything like ridiculous or horrible. But when they came around, they're like, okay, level 2 for recruiting contact during COVID period. And the other one, if Harbaugh was lying about stuff and covering.
Yeah, and especially if like as soon as you commit the violation and you are made aware of that, you are supposed to let the university know. They have a compliance office, and then that office will report things to the NCAA, and then the NCAA will sort it out from there. If you don't do that, if you fail to report something to the compliance office and someone else mentions it later, you will be on the hook for that. You will be in a lot of trouble. And it does explain a little bit as to why Jim Harbaugh, who recently said, I'm not leaving Michigan, is all of a sudden interviewing with all of these NFL teams. I think that somebody's trying to run.
Let's just say this. When he quoted Bo Schembechler, is that his name?
Yeah.
When he said, those who stay will be champions. He also added, or completely miss a season. One of the two. I got to go. All right, let's take that break. We come back. We're going to figure out what to do about our fantasy football championships across all the Daily Blender fantasy football leagues. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update for Arizona's new home for sports, The Fanatic. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
One of the bigger games in Week 18 pits the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Tennessee Titans on Saturday night. The winner will claim the AFC South. Jacksonville already beat Tennessee this season in Week 14. The Jaguars are a 6.5-point home favorite, minus 275 on the money line. The Titans plus 225 with an over-under at 39.5. The Lions meet on Sunday night. It could have playoff implications for both teams. Packers need just a win to make the playoffs. The Lions a win and a Seattle loss. Green Bay a 4.5-point home favorite, minus 240. The Lions plus 198. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% when you use the promo code ACTION75. Experts.winnersandwhiners.com. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
If you are an IT professional looking for an opportunity with great benefits, the freedom to creatively solve problems in a career with great growth potential and a team environment, look no further than Affinity Technology. Serving the Valley since 1992, Affinity Technology is looking for a level 1 tech to develop and deliver excellent solutions and outstanding customer service. Visit atechaz.com/jobs and get started with your future today. That's atechaz.com/jobs.
This is Aaron Warby, host of the Bulls and the Bears radio show, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. I am here today to make the statement that just because we're in a bear market does not mean that you have to be losing money. Just like Michael Burry and Warren Buffett, bear markets should be where real generational wealth is created, but most will follow the same broken strategy that lost them in the last bear market. We are inviting you to come to an intensive 3-day trading and investing class where we will show you the trading and investing strategies of the market wizards. This class is typically $299, but right now, for 66% off, you can join us in this class. Just call 8448-TRADER. That's 8448-87-2337 and tell the operator you want the $99 3-day class, or text $99 to 25029. That's $99 to 25029.
It's time once again for the Harman Solar 1580 The Fanatic NFL Fan Pick'em Contest. First prize is $1,580 from Harman Solar. Second prize, a Zebra e-bike from Hemingway. And $500 third prize from Harman Solar. Sign up today. Go to 1580thefanatic.com. The Harman Solar 1580 The Fanatic NFL Fan Pick'em Contest. From your home for the NFL in the Valley. 1580 and 99.3. The Fanatic.
It is the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic, and joining us right now is your fantasy girl, Rosalie Michaels. Hopefully she's got some ideas on how to sort through all this hubbub after what happened on Monday Night Football, trying to establish 13 different champions in the Daily Blender Fantasy Football Leagues. How's it going, Rosalie?
It's going good. It's going really well. I've been in CES land, so it's been interesting over there, working with Panasonic again, emceeing their main stage, and meeting some. Martha Stewart came through today.
Oh, that's nice.
So, yeah, Martha Stewart. And then I was working with Cal Penn yesterday, if you know him from the Harold and Kumar movies, as well as, did you know he was a White House staffer with the Obama administration?
Yeah, he actually left the TV show and he went to work for the Obama administration for that time period. Then he came back to acting.
Yeah, amazing. Great guy. Absolutely great guy. So it's been fun.
Rosalie, did Martha Stewart show you any of her prison tattoos?
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
question.
yeah. She showed me all the good ones.
Okay.
And believe it or not, Randy, she's got a great big Phoenix head in a place I can't tell you about. So she's clearly a Cardinals fan as well.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Just wanted to check with that.
I wonder if she hears the show. All right. So, Rosalie, you are, of course, aware of everything that has happened. The whole thing with Damar Hamlin, and now, thank God, he's on his way to recovering, and he's talking, and he's off the breathing tube, and that's great. But we still have, as we've been sitting here, 13 different leagues trying to figure out who's the champion. So I was waiting and patient with the NFL.com to come out and tell us, okay, what's the deal? So here's all they said. Week 17 scores and matchup results have been updated to reflect the cancellation of the Bills-Bengals game. This may have resulted in changes to Week 17 winners as well as matchups for Week 18. We remind league managers that you can use the custom tools to adjust results as your league deems appropriate. The problem with that is I went in there, I can't change nothing. It's all blocked out. So I guess I have to find where these custom tools are. But what they basically have said is, you're on your own. Good luck. So we got to figure out how we're going to establish a winner. I'm looking at the Premier League right now. Thundar, the San Barbarian, had T. Higgins and Stephon Diggs sitting right there, his last two players. Moist One already had all of his guys play. Yes, Moist One has I believe a 62-point lead on him, but T. Higgins, Stephon Diggs, it's not outside of the realm of possibility that both those guys could have made the difference. And we've seen this repeated all across. In fact, in one league, a guy only had a kicker left and he was only 6 points behind. Plausible that kicker could make the difference. So
absolutely,
only two of the leagues in the Daily Blender fantasy football leagues had definitive winners without impact from the Bears Bengals games. And that just tells you how good these teams are and how important the players are on those teams. So now here we are, Rosalie. We're on our own. What do you think we should do to fix this situation?
Well, here's what I'm going to say to everybody. This is a very unique situation, and obviously, our first thoughts were, whatever. Fantasy football doesn't matter. Damar Hamlin is what matters, and this is coming from somebody that fantasy football is my life. So, obviously, if you are people, and in other leagues that I am in, money leagues, that kind of thing, what has happened in those leagues is the two players from the championship game have agreed to split the pot, split the winnings, and split the championship. And so that's obviously a very fair way to do it. And because you don't know what could have happened. And, if you called it that, this is the way it played out is the way it played out, that's all the points your guys got. Sorry. It's just like if those guys got hurt, in this case, both teams got hurt. There was an injury on both teams for all the players. So you can look at it that way, as that just let it play as it was, whatever the final scores were, where the final scores were. For me personally, what I think that is most fair is to go in and say, okay, you can either do it by, if that doesn't seem fair to people, that you just call it the way that it ended and assume that it was like having injuries to every player on both teams in that game. If that's not fair to the league, then you would go to one of two scenarios. Either whoever had the best record during the season, that's your winner of those two top teams, that's your winner. Or or like for me in the third and fourth place game, I'm perfectly happy with saying the results are the results. That's how it goes. But then, I didn't have any players left. So, it's hard for me to make that call. So I'm fine with it, but you either go to whoever had the best record, or I think the more fair way to go is whoever had the higher point total for the season. Simply because, yes, your players did the best overall in the season. You fielded the best team overall, because as we all know, head to head, week to week, anything can happen. But the point total for the season, for me, if you're not happy with, we're just calling it the way that it is and the way that it ended up, then go to the highest point total for the season. That to me is the fairest way to do it, because those are the players that showed up week to week.
All right. So there's another idea that I am sort of leaning towards that you haven't mentioned. And that is, if you had players like T. Higgins and Stephon Diggs, what we do is we take their totals for week 18. I know it's not the same defense they would have been matched up against. I know that there's other variables, but at least you take their points from this next game and apply it to week 17.
Well, and here's the problem that you're going to run into as well. It's not just that the matchups are different, that it's, a totally different scenario, maybe you wouldn't have started those guys. I mean, T. Higgins, obviously you would, maybe you wouldn't have started those guys, and then there are lesser players as well. And week 18, we have a lot of games where players are sat.
Right.
So that's not the right thing to do either. In my personal opinion, I don't know that I would like that if I was in the championship game. Like I said, I would go to the season long point total. Okay, clearly your team, like you've said in the past, is that to have a player or a team that was dominant, such as, our number one overall that I beat in the playoffs, and the number one seed got taken out, it's unfair that he would have to go and be in the lesser league. Lesser, I don't say that to demean anybody, because it's truly not a lesser league.
You
but
realize
to be
that
in
both
a different league.
Well, no, both Thundar and Moist One, they're in. Remember?
No, I know. Oh, I
so
know. But I was talking about the you didn't want our number one seed that was dominant all season. He would have ended up getting kicked out of the Premier League, right?
Well, yeah, but now we've made that change that we talked about.
Exactly. But the reason why you made that change is because he had the highest point total. He just got unlucky in the playoffs, right?
So you're saying we just go across every one of these matchups, and whoever had the highest point total during the season, the regular season, is just declared the winner.
Only in the championship games. I think it
Right.
only needs to matter in the championship games. Correct.
Right. Well, of course, we don't care about anything else.
Exactly.
So I guess we could do this. We could give each league a choice. We could walk in and say, okay, here's the deal, boys. You split the pot, or we go by the best point total for the season. That is the winner.
I would say everybody splits the pot no matter what. I think that's what you do. And then the champion is declared based on your season point total. Then I think everybody's a little happy. Hey, even if you don't get to be declared the champion, you got a little cash.
And now Ralph
bad
from Harmon
deal.
Solar is going to get writer's cramp because now he has to write 26 checks instead of 13.
Is it actual checks? And don't you have a printer?
We do still have that other check that has to be written to the worst fantasy football player of the year who actually tried. And we are able to determine who actually tried, but still was the worst. People who rage quit or, sort of gave up or walked off. Well, that's not what we're talking about. The person who legitimately week in, week out was just really trying and failed miserably, they're getting a giant $25 check. And it's a legitimate giant $25 check to embarrass them when they cash it at the bank.
Well, you know what? I would like to up that. I would up that to my personal phone number for next year for them to call me
and get advice
and get fantasy advice.
Wow. But you have to promise to talk to them very condescending every time they ask for that advice.
Well,
Just
duh.
Make them miserable when they do. Duh. So, all right. I guess the question is going to be, are the super fans of the Fourth Dimension playing in our fantasy football leagues okay with your concept? I was really liking taking the points from the next week, even though, there are other circumstances. Trust me, at this time of the year, anybody was trying to play were studs. If you're in the championship, they were studs, and they'll probably have a pretty good point total no matter what happens next week. And I kind of like that as just like, okay, these are the points. This gives you a fair shot one way or the other to have a definitive winner. But you say, nay, you don't like that at all.
I do not like it at all. I really don't. It's just it's a totally different set of circumstances. People that played last week and the matchups are different than, with the Bills, they've got the Patriots, right? And then the Bengals have the Ravens. So the matchups are different. So, and you can't say that if you probably were playing studs. There could have been people in there playing Gabe Davis. There could have been people in there playing, the kickers. And so there are less than studs that were played last week. So, and
Well, what
again,
about the no
some of those
chance in
studs
hells?
are maybe sat, you know,
about
and
the-
may get hurt this week as opposed to last week they didn't get hurt. So it's for me, I don't like it. I think you're opening yourself up to a lot messier situation and
People are
having
gonna
to go
complain no matter
through
what.
and rescore all those.
So what about the no chance in hell? So we have some where we're like, well, maybe, but not likely. But now we're making somebody split the pot where somebody was like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have to split this pot. I was going to
Clear
win."
winner. Like I mean, in the Premier League, it was a long shot for.
It's
for
that
Sundar,
long a shot,
but
though. T. Higgins and
it's
Stephon
not-
Diggs could have both closed
Could
that
have.
distance.
Could have.
It's
but the
plausible.
week before, T. Higgins only scored 5 points.
Sure, but look
You
at
know?
other weeks, and then you got to
Yeah,
think
well,
about it.
exactly.
This gets
Or what you could do is
week
take
4,
the
30 points.
average. You could take the average of each play. If you really want to give yourself some work, take the average of each of those players that were plugged in for the
average
for the
isn't.
season.
You can't do the average because there are some like T. Higgins in week 14 had no points, and then last week, actually, you're wrong. He had 29.8 points. So
No, T. Higgins did. Stephon Diggs did not.
oh, I thought you
Stephon
said T.
Diggs
Higgins. Okay.
Diggs had to like 5 points. Less
Well,
than 5
I
points.
am
It was
getting
4.5.
what you're saying. I'm getting what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
So,
you could do a if you really want to go into the players' points, what I think could be fair and could be is the average of those players' points throughout the season. So, when you look at, let me pull it up. When you look at a hold please, T. Higgins, we'll go with that because it's taken into account injuries, it's taken into account everything, right? Bye weeks, the up weeks, down weeks. Why is this not going? I'm trying to look up T. Higgins.
because God agrees with
But
me.
yeah, but what you're saying is that there's a nice good sample size.
Exactly. So do you go, you could go through and again, Jeffrey, this is going to be a lot of work for you and your crew there, but you go in, take the average of those particular players for the season, plug them in, and see if it makes a difference in those championship games. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah. So, in regards to the Premier League, it's pretty obvious that it should just be the moist one. It was possible, but maybe not quite as likely. And so, I think that we might need to, like, if you don't mind helping out, we should all go and take a look at each one of these leagues games and each one of these things and sort of decide, no, we have a clear winner because there's no way this guy is going to win. In the one where you have the kicker who's within 6 points, you split the pot on that one for sure. So should we take this case by case, or do we just go ahead, split the pot no matter what, and decide who's the champion the other way?
Yeah, again, I think you got to put a vote up to the listeners of how they think they should do it. I think the two fair ways are this pathway that we just said, that, and if there's a clear winner, if somebody wants to, say, you know what, I give, I will concede the win to my opponent. If that's, you can do that. You can concede the win. If Sundar says, you know what, I concede, Moist won. Could I have won? Possibly. Was it likely? Not.
Means a lot of emails for me now.
It does, but this is a unique situation, Jeffrey.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry that you have to go through it. Or
Yeah,
just,
everybody is
or
feeling
just make
sorry.
it a blanket statement and put it out to a vote.
Everybody feels sorry for Damar Hamlin. I feel like I'm the real victim here.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. How's that breathing tube going for you, Jeffrey?
I have feelings too. Choro says, I vote Rosalie number 3 and Berg 4. And Berg for some reason is still like, hey, Rosalie, do you really want third place in the Premier League? Up 0.5 points going against Burrow.
He beat me. He is third place. I am fourth place. I am perfectly fine with that.
This does not affect anything that has anything to do with our standing. So you're fine, Berg. CK says, ask her about replacing with highest bench scores. So what you do is you go back and look at week 17 you see who their highest bench scorers were and replace those players there and see if it makes a difference.
No, I don't like that either. It's because it's a totally different animal. I don't like that either, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. Think about the quarterback situation, right? So, hey, you've got Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, and you're replacing him with Andy Dalton. That's not cool.
And Ralph from Harmon Solar, he actually just said, what about a entire week 18 complete redo? But I think for the same reasons with certain teams pulling players back or, other players supporting those players not playing, you know what I'm saying? So I would be okay with some of the players, but not like a complete redo on that. So, but Ralph from Harmon Solar is the guy who writes all these damn checks. So he does get a say in this, that's for sure. All right, we must take a break. We're going to let Rosalie Michaels go back to her fun there at the CES. Thank you for helping us with this. But I think I'm going to go into each league and presenting these ideas to each league individually, because there might be a couple guys that says, no problem, let's just split it, no big deal. Others might say, wait a second. So we'll use a version of the two things we talked about in each league, I guess case by case scenario. So
all right. Try to take it easy on Jeffrey out there, guys, because that's a lot of work for our poor guy, and he's not known for his thinking.
Oh damn!
I think we're hanging up on you now.
I'm kidding.
Straight fire.
Wow.
It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs.
I never really thought about tools until I bought a house in the suburbs. It's like this weird homeowner test if I need a tool for a project and don't have it. And my neighbor Ted loves to give me that look when I ask to borrow a pole saw. A year ago, I didn't even know pole saws existed. And now I gotta borrow one from Ted? What is happening?
Anyway, when you save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto, that's the easy part of adjusting to the suburbs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
If you are an IT professional looking for an opportunity with great benefits, the freedom to creatively solve problems in a career with great growth potential and a team environment, look no further than Affinity Technology. Serving the Valley since 1992, Affinity Technology is looking for a level 1 tech to develop and deliver excellent solutions and outstanding customer service. Visit atechaz.com/jobs and get started with your future today. That's atechaz.com/jobs.
Hey everybody, Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends over at the Lund Mortgage Team. The Lund Mortgage Team has been doing their thing for over 2 decades in the Valley, helping thousands of people in Arizona save money on their loans, get the best rate. They're mortgage brokers. They can shop it around for you. And now more than ever, it is so important to have a mortgage professional that's been around, that's seen high rates, low rates, everything in between, because look, there's no sugarcoating what's going on right now. The rates are higher. However, the supply and demand, the whole how many houses are for sale in Arizona and what's going on, it's gone in favor of the buyer now. So if you're going to buy a new home, it is important to go and get that rate. Whatever that rate is, it's not going to be your forever rate. That's important to think about. So lock it in, get the house of your dreams and move on. But let the people at the Lund Mortgage Team do their job. All the heavy lifting from start to finish. They'll find you the best rate out there. Call 623-875-9940, 623-875-9940, or online, lundmortgage.com.
They're going to go nuts when he hits this thing.
Oh, it went in. The People's Open is back. See the PGA Tour's best. Tee it up at the 2023 WM Phoenix Open presented by Taylor Morrison. February 6th through the 12th at TPC Scottsdale. Get full tournament information at WMPhoenixOpen.com.
That's WMPhoenix.com.
8 Out presents Terrifying Jobs.
Bull Rider, take 2.
Today we're talking with Clifford Maxwell, a rodeo bullfighter. His job? Distract raging bulls from going after thrown riders. Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked off.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah. Distracted drivers terrify me.
This message is brought to you by ADOT, KBA, and this station. This is Brent Musburger.
Don't miss Pro Football Blitz, Saturday afternoons, right here on Arizona's sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
I might get blitzed tonight. Oh, stay in the blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. It is Friday. I don't think Mr. Pringle was trying to have my back or anything. I think he was just trying to heckle, but he's like, so Rosalie's fourth in the Blender Premier League, and yet she's an expert. I was in second place.
Wow.
I beat her. I beat Rosalie every time I played her this year. But she got me good. She got me good. 888-368-1580. No, I respect that game. Randy's Chuckle says, since the Bills and Bengals both need a win, so both will play hard, just those players would play, count in the Week 18 matchups. We'd all have played those players anyway. And how did Fantasy Girl have 0 players from Bills or Bengals? A lot of talent on those teams. I think she had a horrible draft position, and she actually, to her credit, for everybody's heckling her, she crawled her way back up over the course of the year to be in championship contention. And I mean, we had a bunch of 7-7 teams vying for in fact, the two teams in our championship 7-7. So that's a testimony, I think, to the Premier League, because people with horrible drafts were able to waiver wire work and get their way up and in there. So as much as we're heckling each other, trust me, the lady knows what she's talking about, guys. 888-368-1580.
And like she said, there are players like Gabe Davis, who's a really good player, but he's not a guy that's an automatic start. It is matchup dependent with him. So sometimes that happens.
Yeah. Cards Chappie says, I'm pretty sure Martha Stewart is almost a big a fan of this show as Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Could be.
We don't know. Until I see a picture of Martha Stewart giving me the finger like Ryan Fitzpatrick did.
Yeah.
So I can't know.
Yeah.
Lost Toby wants to know if this is man of the month. Blake Wheeler rupturing a testicle after he got struck by a Josh Morrissey shot on December 15th, and he finished the game.
Oh my God.
You probably didn't know his testy was ruptured.
Oh my God.
So that would be, I'll give him man of December.
How could you not? I mean,
see, it's just kind of like sometimes you get hit in the nuts and it doesn't immediately occur to you, and then later you're like, oh God. Reading that out loud and then thinking about it. Oh God.
Yeah.
Ruptured.
I've got a headache. I have a headache now.
The word ruptured should not be used to describe that. Not that. No.
And anytime the word testicle comes in, is generally not positive.
You use testicle and rupture in the same sentence, it's usually bad.
Hello. Good Cat says, since I was in the championship game as basement dweller in League 2, if the pot does get split, I'm okay with donating my winnings to Sports Angels. Well, that's nice. That's kind of you, Good Cat. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but that's up to you, buddy. Big George says, I still like my idea. Well, here's what he was saying. Leave the championship results as is. Cancel games and injuries are part of football. Things happen. Cancellation is a chance thereof is just likely an injury that'll affect everyone equally. Just keep the results as they are. Nobody can complain because it was unforeseen act of God, force majeure. This coming from a guy who has no skin in the game and is objective third-party arbitrator.
I mean, there is that school of thought, but we here at the Blender, and I know Jeffrey is this way too, wants to make it as equitable as possible. I mean, yeah, it was an act of God. Yeah, it was an unforeseen circumstance. Yeah,
it was an act of T. Higgins. No,
but
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Wow. First we go ruptured testicle, then we go to dark.
Just like back to back.
Just dark.
I am just kidding. It was nobody's fault. Nobody's fault. Screaming Eagle, he says, I'm sorry I didn't get this for Rosalie when she was on. It says, in week 16, the majority of my studs became duds. Nevertheless, I did enjoy fantasy football. And he says, thank you very much, Jeffrey. Well, listen, you're in third place in your league. Well done. You're still doing really nicely, Screaming Eagle. So you got nothing to be ashamed of there. Ralph from Harmon Solar, by the way, has agreed that if it does come to it, he will write extra checks, to split the pot. He's not giving out the same amounts of money, but he's going to split the pot, which just means more writing for that guy. Berg says, fire Big George. Can't fire him. He doesn't really work. He's our lawyer. I mean,
yeah.
We need a lawyer.
Yeah,
we can't. Hookham Hottie doesn't like us enough to really represent us.
Yeah,
so
well, there's that. Yeah.
I don't even know if she's licensed to do law in this state.
I don't think so.
So we need George.
And we can't really, I don't know that we can 100% count her. I mean, is she actually here in the state? I don't think
I don't know. I don't know where she is.
Oh.
So the other thing, Berg, I think instead of fire Big George, I think you should fight Big George. Big George versus Berg cage match.
It'd be like a throwdown, like a John Cena throwdown, right?
Or just Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I got the game in my office. Maybe we'll just have to do that.
I can see that.
That's 3 out of 5 Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Notice, I don't know that Big George's or Berg's head would do that, though.
No. The actual game. I actually have the game.
Oh.
I don't know if George's giant hands can work the controls without breaking it, though.
Well, that's true. I still like the fact that Berg and Big George, together in a real cage match. I like that.
Yeah. Good old Donnybrook, right, Lost Toby?
Yeah. Why not?
I like a good old Donnybrook better than anybody.
Let's break it down.
The Berg says Boogie's a better lawyer in Arizona. Source Tess Tackle. What? Source testicles? Boogie's not even a lawyer. What are you?
There's so much wrong with that text.
I better get to this.
Tackle.
That's going to keep us up late at night, Berg, trying to figure that. It was weird.
That's 2 today.
Yeah. It was weird earlier when we got smelly bag of asses from Kiss the Cook.
That was an honest accident, though. This seems to be on purpose, and therefore I am now more confused.
Hold on a second. Stop everything. Hi, Emily. How you doing, Emily? Hey, Emily. How you doing? That's Berg's daughter. He wanted to see if we could say hi to her. So I just did. Millions of dollars of airtime, and this is what I do. You're welcome. It's time now for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back in the year 1994, American figure skater Nancy Kerrigan was struck on the lower right thigh with a telescopic baton by assailant Shane Stant as she walked down a corridor after a practice skate of the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in Detroit, Michigan. Why? The attack was planned by Jeff Gillooly, the ex-husband of fellow American figure skater Tanya Harding.
Were they exes then, though? Tanya Harding and
well, they're
Gillooly?
exes now. I think
they are
were
now.
still
Yes,
married. Yeah,
I know
they were
that.
married at the time.
She's got some miserable show on TV now.
Yeah, Sean Eckert guy was in there too, and they both claimed that Harding was involved. They're like, oh no, she had something to do with it.
Oh boy!
And so Kerrigan, she had to bow out of the U.S. Championship, but then she did compete in the Winter Olympics. Tanya Harding, though, she got banned for life from skating because of all this. So, and now I guess you're saying she's on some stupid TV show?
Yeah, she's on some stupid TV show with her current husband. I don't even know what they do.
What is this? The Beyond Redneck channel? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what it's some sort of comedy making fun of people show. I forget the name of it.
Do they film it at her double wide?
I don't know where I've seen it. I've seen that it's horrible.
Oh, no.
It seems like all the rejects are on there. So Leif Garrett is on there. What's his name? The bassist for the Partridge Family. That guy, he's on there. The orange hair. Remember Danny
Bonaducci? I thought he was a drummer.
No, he was the bass player, and he's on there. Leif Garrett is on there. What's his name? Sylvester Stallone's brother.
Frank?
Yeah, he's on there. Yeah, it's like a rejects channel. All the rejects in the world making fun of people in video clips.
So like 910 here.
Sort of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I got you. Big George wants to fight Berg in the actual UFC match. No, we're not letting you do that. We're not letting you do that.
Climb into the octagon, boys.
No. It's Rock'em Sock'em Robots or something on the Xbox. I'm not having you guys actually fight.
Again, you have the problem with the small controller and Big George's enormous hands.
It's a good point. I don't know. All right, fine, fight. I don't care. Eye Candy says, Jeffrey, it was fun playing in the fantasy football. Came in 6th place in Blender League 9. My guys, again, took a poop. But anyway, looking forward to next year. Thanks a lot, Eye Candy. It's good to have you in there. Screaming Eagle says, you guys really do entertain. I won't listen to any other radio station. That's a good man right there.
Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Of course, good man.
It's a good man right there. Lost Toby says, Dodgers eating that salary is amazing, by the way.
Oh, the Trevor Bauer, no longer a part of the organization.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, did that come out today? Because they had till today.
Yeah. That was today.
Oh, boy.
Oh, poor Dodgers.
Guess who's going to pick him up? He'll still be in the National League West.
Oh, no. No.
Substantially lower salary. Another economy move.
Berg says, thanks, Jeffrey. She's happy, saying to her brother that her name was said on radio, not his.
Yeah, well, it's typical sibling rivalry right there.
Well, we'll leave it that way for today, but if he wants to hear his name next week, we can make that work. All right, guys, that is it for this edition of the Daily Blender. And wow, first week of 2023. Didn't it feel like a whole month?
Well, that was crazy.
Goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Good God. I guess I'm going to have some emails and some conversations to have with 26 different people about how to sort out this fantasy football thing, but I think it's the right thing to do. See you guys on Monday. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle